Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Universal Job Transfer. I can extract skills from all realms. Chapter 1. Students, the awakening ceremony has ended now, and the college entrance examination will be held in 3 days. As your class teacher, I definitely hope that each of you can be admitted to your own professional school and then become a professional. But, before that, I hope that all students will also choose to do what they can according to their own awakened talents. In short, those who have awakened talents below D level, or those who have awakened auxiliary talents, I hereby recommend that you choose the literary test. Quote. In the classroom of Class 5, Class 3, Number 3 High School, Jinghai City, Longguo. The head teacher, Lao Zhang, who was somewhat bald, glanced seriously at the 30 or so students in the seats, and said solemnly. After speaking, he picked up the thermos cup soaked in wolfberry and took a sip. Then Lao Zhang glanced at the corner of the last row. Zheng Feng was in a daze. I couldn't help but sigh. Hey, he is obviously such an outstanding young man. I rank first in theoretical scores every year, so why did I awaken an E-level talent? If you awaken an E-level talent, you will basically have no chance of becoming a professional, let alone get admitted to a professional university. Talents are divided into 8 levels. E, D, C, B, A, S, SS, and SSS. The current college entrance examination is also divided into a literary test and a martial arts test. In short, based on his many years of teaching experience, it has basically never happened that anyone with talent below D level can successfully enter a professional university after taking the martial arts exam. Zheng Feng felt Lao Zhang's gaze and finally came back to his senses. Why didn't Laozi just eat a bowl of expired instant noodles and travel through time? The key is this world or a parallel world where monsters invade and humans face survival problems. But these are not the most important things. The most important thing is why is my awakening talent the most rubbish E-level talent? And forget about the E-level talent, why is Mao still a light talent with the weakest attack power, Glimmer? Quote. Zheng Feng activated his talent, then flicked his finger forward, and then a faint white light flashed away. Well, did you pinch me just now? At this time, the beautiful squad leader with ponytail turned around, her pretty face blushed, and then she spoke weakly. There is no illusion about you. After the experiment just now, Zheng Feng had a thorough understanding of his talent. Mad's talent is too weak, isn't it? How can I survive in this world where ordinary ferocious beasts can kill a tiger with one shot? Quote. Zheng Feng was speechless. At this time, several pieces of news appeared in his mind unconsciously. Yesterday, the 9th level ferocious beast, the sky-swallowing whale emperor, appeared near Sakura Flower Country's Gabak Island. Then Sakura Flower Country's Gabak Island was sunk, and nearly hundreds of thousands of people became the sky-swallowing whale emperor's food. Last night, Jinghai City of the Dragon Kingdom was attacked by the 8th level ferocious beast Thunder Bear. The Dragon Kingdom's military dispatched 3 8th level professionals, and then fought hard for 3 days and 3 nights, and finally killed it. According to statistics, this attack caused a total of 60,000 civilian deaths. Quote. Latest news announced. The number 1 high school in Dragon Kingdom's demonic city has an S-level awakened person who has strengthened the system. He then refused direct recruitment from the 3 major vocational schools and threatened to win the top prize in the country in the martial arts exam. All the top high schools in the country expressed dissatisfaction with this, and they all want to compete for the first place in the country. Quote. Through this news, you can know what the world is like. If you cannot become a professional, then you are a lamb without the ability to protect yourself. If you encounter a vicious beast, you will definitely die. And if you want to become a professional, there is only one way, which is to take the martial arts exam and then successfully enter the professional university. After graduating from the liberal arts exam, I can only do some clerical jobs. After all, I am just an ordinary person. Now that I have traveled to this world with supernatural powers, I definitely want to become a professional who can break mountains and rivers. Get the system out quickly. Quote. Zheng Feng knew that all time travelers had standard equipment. Really, the most powerful upgrade system is being bound. The progress bar stopped moving when it reached 90%. Just at this time, it has been detected that the host itself has noble Yangwang blood, and the strongest upgrade system is not worthy of the great host. The most powerful upgrade system is officially upgraded. Finish. The most powerful upgraded lottery system is bound to serve you. Note: this lottery can only draw skills. In addition, Yanwang bloodline upgrade points are given, 200. And the number of bonus draws, 1. Quote: hey, this Yanwang bloodline is indeed the most noble wherever it goes. Even the system needs to be upgraded to be worthy of it. Zheng Feng sighed. Can the system please tell me your role quickly? Dear host, this system allows the host to gain upgrade points by killing ferocious beasts. This upgrade point can be used to improve anything on the host itself, including but not limited to strength and physique, skills and charm, etc. Quote: anything that can improve yourself. Zheng Feng lowered his head, with a strange look on his face. 18 cm right pointing arrow 25 cm. It costs 10 upgrade points. Please ask the host if it chooses to upgrade. Quote: I was just kidding. Zheng Feng wiped his sweat. 18 is enough all over the world, and the college entrance examination is about to take place, so this upgrade point cannot be wasted on this. I roughly understand the function of the upgrade, but what about this lottery? Please explain it to me in detail. That is, when the host accumulates a certain number of points, it can randomly select a skill from the world that matches the protagonist's talent attributes. The system explained immediately. Then let's draw the lottery now. Zheng Feng said without hesitation. It has been detected that host has a talent of light attribute, and now the system automatically matches host with light attribute skills. Congratulations to host for successfully acquiring the light skill, Vitality Bomb. Do you choose to master it now? Note: strange phenomena may occur when learning this skill. Quote: forehead. It turned out to be a Vitality Bomb. Couldn't this be Sun Wukong's signature skill Vitality Bomb from the previous anime 7 Dragon Ball? Don't master this yet. Quote: as a senior anime fan in his previous life, Zheng Feng knew every anime character well. And the young version of Sun Wukong in 7 Dragon Ball once used the Vitality Bullet skill to directly destroy a 1,000-meter-high mountain. Zheng Feng felt that if he could use such a powerful attack at this stage, it would be converted into talent. It must be an S-level start. This will make the next martial arts test more stable. After class is over, find a place to receive it by yourself and try out its power first. Zheng Feng beamed with joy, and his eyes almost narrowed into slits. And this also made the ponytail monitor in front of him blush even more, and he couldn't help but wonder if Zheng Feng was interested in him. Just when Zheng Feng was about to continue studying the system's functions, a piece of chalk became bigger and bigger in Zheng Feng's eyes, and hit Zheng Feng's forehead accurately. I saw the teacher on the stage put down the chalk box calmly, then cleared his throat and continued talking. Then, all students will be asked to come up to the stage one by one, and then fill in the form of whether you choose the martial arts test or the literary test. Let's start from the front row. After a while, everyone in the class had filled out the form, and it was Zheng Feng's turn to fill it out. Didn't you listen to my lecture carefully just now? If you take the martial arts exam with a talent below level D, you will have a narrow escape. So are you sure you want to take the martial arts exam? Quote: Zheng Feng's class teacher frowned, looked at Zheng Feng's filled-in application, and confirmed it several times. Although the martial arts exam was linked to his admission rate and his bonus, he really didn't want Zheng Feng to take the martial arts exam. With only E-level talent, if you enter, you will not only have a high probability of not getting the points required by the professional school, but if you are not careful, Zheng Feng may also die in it. Moreover, in every college entrance examination in previous years, many students with E-level talents who did not listen to advice died in it. He really didn't want Zheng Feng to make the same mistake again. Well, old classmate, I'm really determined to take the martial arts exam. Zheng Feng was an extreme sports enthusiast who loved excitement in his previous life. He has traveled through time and still lived a mediocre life, so it would be better not to travel through time. Besides, he has a system by his side now. Seeing Zheng Feng make up his mind, the head teacher also sighed lightly. I actually understand your family's situation. Let me see it this way. You can discuss your application with your family when you go back and give me an answer tomorrow morning. Quote: after finishing speaking, the head teacher patted Zheng Feng on the shoulder, and then left the classroom with the filled-in application. After the head teacher left, the classroom exploded instantly. Real or fake? As expected of me, brother Zheng Feng. Even with E-level talent, he dares to directly sign up for the martial arts exam. How awesome. Even my D-level talents dare not take the martial arts exam, okay. Quote. The one who exclaimed was Zheng Feng's best friend, Fatty Lu Tian. Lu Tian awakened the D-level Logia's talent microelectronics. This talent can control circuits in fires, so he has been assigned a job by the fire station. He was the only person who did not alienate Zheng Feng after he awakened his E-level trash talent. The other one is squad leader Shui Jingru. Zheng Feng. Are you really ready to take the martial arts exam? But with your talent. Class monitor Shui Jingru's eyes revealed concern. Although she did not continue speaking, her meaning was self-evident. If you take the literary test, I can ask my family to help you find a career job after graduation. Zheng Feng met the eyes of Shui Jingru and he could see deep concern in them. The two people in front of me really care about themselves. Unlike the rest of his class, who ridiculed him after he awakened his E-level talent. Don't worry, since I dare to sign up for the martial arts exam, I will definitely be sure, and I am no longer the same person as before. Zheng Feng showed a sunny smile to Shui Jingru. Shui Jingru suddenly felt that her pretty face was red, her heartbeat could not help but accelerate, and her brain went blank. He even forgot what he said to dissuade Zheng Feng. This scene also made other people in the class jealous. Haha, a rubbish E-level light talent, why is he pretending to be a big-tailed wolf here? How dare you sign up for the martial arts exam? This guy is really looking for death. Quote. Humph, this guy has such a tough mouth right now. When he actually faces the beast, he will probably pee his pants in fear. With his rubbish E-level talent, I think it's only suitable for tickling ferocious beasts, right? A poor guy like this who can't even afford pills is the one who finally allowed you to be admitted to a vocational university by chance. Will you be able to practice by then? Zheng Feng ignored these cynicisms because he had heard them too much these days. In addition, he has never been a talkative person. Slaps in the face must rely on strength and fait accompli, not verbal attacks. It's time for school to end in the afternoon. Because the college entrance examination is coming up in 3 days, and their students taking the martial arts exam need to be fully rested and prepared, so they haven't had any late self-study recently. After waving goodbye to the squad leader and Lu Tian, Zheng Feng did not go home. Instead, he came alone to a 4-story building outside the school. This place belongs to the training building directly under Jinghai City No. 3 High School. It is a place dedicated to providing strength training for students who intend to become professionals. The appearance of this training building is no different from ordinary buildings. They are all conventional white long column buildings. However, the thickness of the walls of the training building is far greater than that of ordinary buildings. The thickness has reached an astonishing 3 meters. The training rooms inside are all wrapped in thickened alloys, which are strong enough to allow any talented high school student to unleash their strength. It is said that the training buildings in those professional schools are more luxurious. Not only is it equipped with super alloys to test various levels of strength, but it is also equipped with various virtual battle equipment that simulates reality. It's really exciting. Zheng Feng sighed as he took out his student card, then swiped the access control to enter the training building. It was 6 o'clock in the afternoon when students were finishing school. Most students are conducting various trainings inside. In a corner of the training building, several boys and girls who had just finished training were drinking coffee in the rest area. Saw Zheng Feng coming in. One of the girls in a sailor suit pointed in the direction of Zheng Feng, and then said loudly to another girl next to her who was wearing heavy makeup. Hey Ting Ting, look at that tall and handsome guy, is he your cousin Zheng Feng? Why don't you go over and say hello? Quote, because people in their circle are either rich or noble, most of their families are well known in Jinghai City. As for Zhao Tingting, she had a poor relative. The key was the awakening of her E-level talent, and she was often ridiculed by people in their circle. When Zhao Tingting heard her best friend's words, she didn't even raise her head but said with a cold face and a disdainful tone. I have never admitted that Zheng Feng is my cousin, and these kind of incompetent relatives are the kind of people who see my family as rich and then lick their faces and stick to me. I've never admitted it. Quote, Zhao Tingting glanced at Zheng Feng with disdain, then looked disgusted. This guy is just as disgusting as his mother. I think this kind of poor relative might as well die in the martial arts exam. He saves his friends from making fun of him every day. Xiaomei, please stop teasing Tingting. After all, none of us have many poor relatives who are beyond reach. Quote. At this time, another long-haired young man with earrings on his mouth and ears answered with a smile. They just see us as powerful, and they try to curry favor with us every day so that they can finally get some benefits from us. By the way, what does that sentence mean? As the saying goes, if you are poor in the busy city, no one will ask if you are rich and have distant relatives in the mountains. Quote. Hearing this, Zhao Tingting snorted coldly. The body that was originally facing Zheng Feng turned around, not wanting to be seen by Zheng Feng, so as not to be walked over directly to say hello. Huh, Zheng Feng glanced here, why didn't he come over to say hello? That girl in sailor uniform named Xiaomei is cool. Hearing this, Zhao Tingting turned around unconsciously, and in the end she only saw a back figure. I felt psychologically uncomfortable for a moment. This poor relative of my own family didn't take the initiative to come over and say hello after seeing him. You can hate this guy, but if he doesn't come over to smile and wag his tail when he sees you, then that's the kid's fault. Zheng Feng also saw his cousin on the other side, but he chose to ignore it. Because in his memory, whenever he thinks of this cousin named Zhao Tingting, the words extremely selfish and extremely vain appear instantly. Not only that, their family seemed to often ridicule the original person and the original person's mother. Just don't mess with me. Zheng Feng didn't stop at Zhao Tingting. Walk to the separate training room area by yourself, then swipe your student ID card to enter. There no. 2 Middle School has a policy for all students in the school. All senior high school students will take the college entrance examination immediately, whether they are taking the liberal arts test or the martial arts test. Everyone will have the opportunity to use a separate training room. Zheng Feng had never used it before, until now. Zheng Feng wants to conduct in-depth research and test the usage of his own system, and at the same time test his own strength. This training room is a closed room of about 50 square meters, with various weapons made of F-grade alloy placed in the corner. In the center, there are several human-shaped targets made of F-grade alloy. This is the same as talent grading. Weapons are also divided from low to high, and are divided into E level, D level, C level, B level, A level, S level, SS level, and SSS level. They are made of different grades of alloys. As the saying goes, the poor in culture and wealth in military affairs. A weapon made of E-grade alloy costs about 50 to 60,000 Daxia coins. And if you reach level B or above, you can easily spend millions of Daxia coins. Only the top professional universities have the ability to produce weapons above level A. So this is why many people rush to get into top vocational universities. Zheng Feng's family is relatively poor, so he still doesn't have an E-class weapon that truly belongs to him. The long swords he used on daily basis were scrapped from other people's curled blades that he had saved for a long time using his work-study money, and finally purchased on the second-hand market. The system opens My Properties panel. Zheng Feng called the system. Name: Zheng Feng. Constitution: 120 plus. Spirit: 100 plus. Upgrade points: 200. Life skills: Junior cooking plus Junior barista plus Junior teacher qualification certificate plus express sorting plus Junior bricklayer plus. Combat skills: Elementary swordsmanship plus storm slash. E-level talents: Glimmer plus Vitality bomb can be mastered. Ah, it's gone now. Zheng Feng touched the back of his head. No wonder his old class refused to let him take the martial arts exam. If I were the class teacher, those students who had 5 of these 7 skills in the class would have to take the martial arts exam. Then you have to stop it yourself. But now I am no longer the same person, I am now a man with a system. By the way, try adding some more first. Zheng Feng did not master the vitality bomb first. Instead, turn on the point adding function first. Anyway, this vitality bomb cannot be upgraded, and it is also an ultimate move. The martial arts test is a continuous battle. If you want to continue to score points, you definitely can't rely solely on ultimate moves. Physique and spirit. The physique is equivalent to the physical fitness and explosive power of the melee profession, while the spirit is equivalent to the blue bar and recovery speed of the mage. Then add your physique first. Even if you want to play as a mage, your physique should not be too weak in the early stage. Otherwise, if you accidentally let a vicious beast get close to you, you will be in trouble. Besides, now that I have a system by my side, I can completely practice both magic and martial arts. Quote. Thinking of this, Zheng Feng added 50 upgrade points to his physique. Constitution. 120 right pointing arrow 170. Moment. Zheng Feng felt a strange heat bursting from his heart. And this strange blazing heat was like flowing magma, as his heart began to contract rapidly, and then it was transmitted to his body, limbs and bones. Zheng Feng immediately felt that every muscle, blood, cell, and nerve in his body were constantly strengthening. There seems to be endless power in him. Ha! Zheng Feng punched the target that was testing his strength. Boom! The humanoid target made of super alloy shook with a bang. Then a big value appeared above. 658 kilograms. With the strength of Zheng Feng, now a 16-year-old boy, one punch can be more than 3 times more powerful than Tyson in his previous life. A 50-year-old physique is roughly equivalent to the strength of a Tyson in his previous life on Earth. My current physical fitness is 170 points. I can crush 4 Tysons with my physical fitness alone. Quote. Zheng Feng looked at the numbers displayed on the target and couldn't help but sigh. I have to say that the physical fitness of people in this world is really terrifying. The physique of a 16-year-old boy is comparable to that of several Tysons. Thinking of this, Zheng Feng took down the long sword made of yibing alloy from the weapon rack in the corner. After unsheathing the sword, he directly pointed it at the test target and slashed Washin with force. Then an afterimage passed by. Bang! A full 900 kilograms. When I used primary swordsmanship in the past, it seemed that I could only produce a maximum of 600 kilograms of force, but now my power has increased by 300 kilograms. It seems that this physical fitness has a high bonus to melee skills. A blow of 900 kilograms of force is already at the peak level of an awakened person, and is completely enough. Professionals in this world are also divided into 9 levels from level 1 to level 9, and each level is divided into 4 smaller levels: lower, middle, upper and peak. Most of the teachers in their number 2 middle school are at the lower level of the second level. Students like Zheng Feng who have not yet become professionals but have awakened their talents are generally called awakened ones. And their awakened ones are also divided into 4 small levels: lower, middle, upper and peak. Then add 50 points to the spirit and see. Quote. The system adds some points to me. Quote. As Zheng Feng's voice fell, his mental attributes also instantly changed from 100 points to 150. The movement when the spirit is improved is not as big as the movement when the physique is improved just now. Zheng Feng just felt a cool feeling pass through his brain. Then the whole person became extremely transparent. It was like having a high fever of 40 degrees for several days and then suddenly recovered. Not only did he recover, Zheng Feng felt that his 5 senses and thinking had also become extremely sharp. Opening the closed window of the training room, Zheng Feng looked towards a residential building 500 meters outside. With the blessing of his current 150-point spirit, the distance of 500 meters seems to be shortened to 5 meters at this moment. Zheng Feng could clearly see the content on the phone of the woman in the other residential building. This woman is chatting naked with the same gender, it's a bit eye-catching. Zheng Feng closed the window silently. Under the threat of invading ferocious beasts, ordinary people are now under increasing pressure, which has led to many strange habits. Then Zheng Feng tried his shimmering power again, and the light group released was already larger than before, and at the same time, it was more solid. It seems that the growth of spirit can simultaneously affect the power of superpowers, and the improvement effect is about doubled, which is good. After 2 extra point tests, Zheng Feng had a precise positioning of his own strength. Before they become true professionals, their awakened ones are also divided into 3 levels: upper, middle and lower. Just based on my current physical fitness, it should be comparable to the peak of the awakened. The current physical fitness is definitely enough for the martial arts exam. But this is not enough. If you want to improve your scores and successfully enter one of the top professional universities, physical fitness alone is definitely not enough. Then all the remaining points will be added to primary swordsmanship and storm slash. Quote. Beginner swordsmanship was successfully upgraded to intermediate swordsmanship. Storm slash was successfully upgraded to blade storm. It only takes a while. Countless swordsmanship skills appeared in Zheng Feng's mind, and countless memories of fighting with swords merged into his body, eventually becoming instinctive. The key is that there are absolutely no side effects. The alloy long sword in Zheng Feng's hand danced, throwing out several sword flowers in front of him, and the air also stirred with it. The long sword struck directly towards the target in front of him. It ended up being 3 paragraphs. This target made of E-grade alloy was instantly punched with 3 dents 5 centimeters deep. At the same time, a very eye-catching red number is displayed on the target. 1,500 kilograms. Then Zheng Feng used Blade Storm again. At the same moment in the center of the hall outside the training room. On a large screen that records the values of all targets in the training room, a bright red value is constantly beating crazily. Finally, jump directly to the top position. 1,500 kilograms. 1,600 kilograms. 1,800 kilograms. In just a few seconds, dozens of different values appeared in succession. Hey, look, is the tester malfunctioning? Why is a value jumping like crazy? 1,900 kilograms. I remember that the highest record in the history of number 2 middle school was only 1,300 kilograms, right? That was done by the senior who awakened the A-level strengthening ability 5 years ago. Quote. Is it some professional who is playing a prank, deliberately brushing the records and trying to mess with our freshman mentality? No, this training building can only be used by our current high school seniors. No outsiders can enter. According to you, the numbers in the rankings were calculated by classmates from the same class as ours. This is impossible. Causing so many record-breaking attacks in a row, unless this person has awakened S-level powers and mastered at least C-level combat skills, how could we, a small place in Zhujiang City, have such a genius? Quote. At this time, the dozens of boys and girls training in the hall all noticed the abnormality in the rankings, and their eyes widened with disbelief on their faces. Zhao Tingting, who was drinking coffee, Xiaomei, a girl in sailor uniform, and the long-haired young man with earrings also noticed the changes in the rankings. Everyone looked shocked, and they even spilled their coffee on the floor without caring. Hiss, could it be that Lu Ziming and Wang Hao, those perverts who have awakened B-level powers, have mastered some advanced combat skills? This martial arts test, the competition is even greater. Hey, by the way, Zhao Tingting, didn't your cousin go in just now? Do you think it was him who typed it? Do you think he is hiding his strength? The knight he awakened has an S-level power. Oh, by the way, you used to humiliate him a lot. Do you think he would retaliate and slap you in the face? Quote. Xiaomei in sailor uniform said with a wicked smile. Zhao Tingting dismissed her and said disdainfully. I think you read it in a novel, right? How could such a ridiculous slap in the face happen in reality? If he were an S-class superpower, I would run naked in the street. Quote. Zheng Feng didn't know that his actions had caused shock to the outside world. Looking at the target that was about to be smashed into pieces by the sword storm, Zheng Feng showed a satisfied smile. Formidable power. With this intermediate swordsmanship and this blade storm alone, I am enough to crush the ferocious beasts at the peak of the first level. But, not enough. System, master the vitality bomb. Quote. Zheng Feng's tone was serious. As Zheng Feng finished speaking, a sound that sounded like the beginning of the world exploded in his heart. Then the endless bright light flooded the entire training room, and finally turned into dots of stars, all of which merged into Zheng Feng's body. At this time, the outside world. Jinghai City is located in the south of Dragon Kingdom and is a southern city. It gets dark earlier. It was past 7 o'clock and it was already night outside. Sudden. The dark night was cut through by dazzling white light, and the entire sky above Jinghai City was illuminated into daylight. What is that? What's going on? Could it be that someone has awakened the light talent? Such a level of vision, what level of awakener must this be? Hiss, my eyes are so dazzling. Drop, drop, honey, press the brakes. Don't turn on the wipers. Trouble, why can't my lattice stop? The light was so intense that even though it was only for a moment, it already blanked many people's vision and caused a panic. All City Bureau Special Police and police officers were dispatched to maintain order. The emergency teams and military experts stationed in Jinghai City also flew into the sky to sense the source of the light. When the S-level enhanced awakener from the Demon City awakened, a strange phenomenon appeared in the sky. I even watched it on the video. But the vision at that time was nothing compared to what it is now. What level of talent does this have to have such a magnificent vision? Quote, "This awakened one must be found. With such talent, he will definitely shine in the next martial arts test. We only need to watch the martial arts test to know who this awakened one is." The 6 powerful professionals from Jinghai City in the sky looked at the sky that had returned to darkness with serious expressions on their faces. In the training room, Zheng Feng also saw what happened outside from the monitoring room. Is this a vitality bomb? I feel that the formation is not inferior to that of the light system's S-level superpower. The blazing sun explodes. Quote, "The posture just now was definitely beyond the vision when S-level powers were awakened. This is the first skill I drew. In anime, there is not only the light skill of Vitality Bomb. Kizaru's skills, Orochi's Sunshine, and even Ultraman Tiga's skills are all light attribute attacks. If you can draw these skills, you can use the system to upgrade and add points to improve your strength. That scene is unimaginable. Try the power of the Vitality Bullet." Without any hesitation, Zheng Feng raised his hands above his head. I imitated Sun Wukong's posture of firing the Vitality Bomb, and said silently in my heart, "People of Zhejiang City has been attacked by ferocious beasts. Please gather your vitality into my hands." Of course, the scene in the anime did not appear, and only he could hear what Zheng Feng said. However, as Zheng Feng's thoughts fell, endless white light appeared out of thin air and flowed towards his hand. A huge ball of light the size of a house appeared out of thin air. Drink, waved his hand and threw it at the test target. Boom, the sky was shaken and the earth was horrified. Holy shit, is there an earthquake? Is there an earthquake? Why is the training building shaking? Run quickly, there's an earthquake. Dozens of boys and girls who were training in the training building were stunned by the sudden shock, and they all ran out in fear. At this time, in the sky outside the training building, a giant bird, the size of a truck, flew towards the training building. Looking at the humans running away, excitement flashed on the bird's face. Quack, quack, there are so many little bugs, what a blessing. With that said, he rushed towards the ground. Hiss, the second-level high-level ferocious beast, the black flame demon bird. How come the black flame demon bird appears here? It's over, it's over. The second-level ferocious beast can crush us to death with one claw. Hurry and hide in the training building. You may not die in the earthquake, but if you encounter a level 2 ferocious beast, you will definitely die. Run quickly, the second-level ferocious beast, there is no one around here who can be his opponent. Seeing the huge thing in the sky, the students who had just ran out of the training building felt despair and fled in a hurry. It's past 7 o'clock now, and all the teachers in the school have gone home from get-off work. But the teachers only have second-level strength, even if the teachers are there. At the speed of the black flame demon bird, at such a close distance, they had no time to rescue him. Later, there was a second-level ferocious beast before the earthquake. They felt that the earthquake was safer, and they fled to the training building one after another. But just then, in the room on the 6th floor of the training building, a bright white ball of light, like a bright moon, suddenly shot out. It hit the black flame demon bird with a bang, flew into the night sky and disappeared after grazing the black flame demon bird's claws. The body of the black flame demon bird was comparable to an E-grade alloy. Its legs were instantly annihilated and turned into powder. Quack screamed and carried it towards the ground. All the students on the ground were stunned by this sudden change. Everyone's eyes widened, looking at this scene in disbelief. What kind of attack was that just now? Hiss, the black flame demonic bird is a monster known for its defensive power. His legs are the hardest part of his body, and they were wiped out with just one move. What kind of shocking attack is this? Quote, is it the master who made the move? Zhao Tingting and the long-haired man were also stunned by this sudden change. They all stared at the sky in a daze. Zhao Tingting subconsciously looked towards the direction of the attack. Her heart felt hot and she couldn't help but fantasize about excitement. So strong, to be able to carry out such an attack, his strength is definitely more than the teacher from No. 2 middle school. At the very least, he is a second-level low-grade superpower. If you can get to know a strong person of this level, you will definitely be able to walk around Zhejiang City. Quote. But after a moment, she shook her head and sighed. Forget it, how can a strong man of this level be accessible to me at this level? Don't think that these things are gone, just take the martial arts exam honestly. Quote. On the other side, Zheng Feng's eyes widened as he looked at the E-class test target that was destroyed to pieces and the disappearing alloy wall in front of him. Fists clenched. It's so powerful. The 2-meter-thick alloy was blasted into slag, and the aftermath was able to destroy a second-level ferocious beast. It's so powerful. It's so strong. The martial arts test is so easy. Quote. The vitality bullet just now consumed about 1/3 of his superpower. In other words, after retaining the necessary abilities, he can attack this level twice in total. This wave is stable, comma. After having a precise idea of his own strength, Zheng Feng got up and went home. As he sneaked out of the training building, in the distance, a beautiful girl looked at Zheng Feng's retreating back with a thoughtful expression. Of course, Zheng Feng himself didn't know this. At this time, he had already rode his third-hand bicycle and rushed home. After riding for about 20 minutes, Zheng Feng arrived at an old and shabby neighborhood on the outskirts of Zhejiang City. This is the house he rents here. After carefully locking the car and making sure that the lock was intact, Zheng Feng smiled and said hello to the old man walking downstairs and walked upstairs. Xiao Wen is back. Come on, Mom will make some chicken soup for you to replenish your health. Quote. In the corner of the dilapidated kitchen, a woman wearing a white apron came out carrying a pot. As he walked, he smiled kindly at Zheng Feng and said, "The college entrance examination is in 2 days. Mom specially made soup for you. I wish my son good results in the exam." Zheng Feng looked at the woman in front of him, and a hint of warmth flashed in his heart. This is the mother of the original owner, Han Mengxin. As an orphan in his previous life, what he longed for most was to have relatives and to have someone waiting for him every time he returned home. The scene before him was something he had dreamed of countless times. Zheng Feng walked forward unconsciously, reached out and took the pot from the woman's hand, and said softly, "Mom, let me do it." "Huh, my son seems to be different." Han Mengxin looked at Zheng Feng, who carefully took over the pot, with a hint of surprise in her eyes. Zheng Feng was stunned. Han Mengxin said with a smile, "You have become more sensible than before. Haha, you never took the initiative to share the burden for your mother before." Zheng Feng breathed a sigh of relief. In the dim light, the two of them were drinking chicken soup, and no one was talking. However, Zheng Feng did not feel any embarrassment about this, but felt very warm. Only children who don't have family know how happy it is to be accompanied by family. "Mom, I want to take the martial arts exam." During the meal break, Zheng Feng whispered. Zheng Feng couldn't hide the fact that Laoban required parents' approval before filling in the application form. Hearing Zheng Feng's words, Han Mengxin's hands visibly trembled, but they recovered immediately. "Okay, I know. Mom, won't you stop me? After all, I'm only an E-level talent." Zheng Feng was curious, and Han Mengxin's reaction exceeded his expectations. He thought he would have to spend a lot of words to convince Han Mengxin. "I know your temperament. It's useless to stop him, just like your dad." Quote. Han Mengxin sighed. With that said, she stood up, walked into the bedroom, and took out an object wrapped in black cloth from the bedroom. While taking it apart, he said with a look of self-blame, "Son, Mom has no ability. We cannot provide you with a good cultivation environment like other parents. I also don't have the ability to buy you pills to replenish qi and blood. That's all Mom can do." Quote. The black package was opened, and inside was a black long sword made of E-grade metal. E-class weapons. "Mom, where did you get the money?" Zheng Feng was stunned. The cheapest E-grade alloy weapon costs 50,000 to 60,000 Daxia coins. Han Mengxin works in a factory during the day and runs a stall part-time at night, and has only 3,000 Daxia coins a month. Excluding rent expenses and my own tuition fees, I can't save a penny a month. How is it possible to purchase an E-level alloy weapon? Don't worry about it. Just hold this weapon. I don't ask you to get into a good university for the martial arts exam. As long as you can be safe, Mom will be satisfied. Seeing Han Mengxin's firm eyes, Zheng Feng knew that he couldn't refuse. Silently picking up the long sword, Zheng Feng raised his head with a determined look on his face. Mom, don't worry, I will definitely be admitted to the university for people with superpowers. Not only that, I will also buy you a bigger house and open a flower shop that you want to open the most. This way, you don't have to go to the factory every day. Quote, 2 days passed in a blink of an eye. In a blink of an eye, the day of the martial arts test has arrived, and parents everywhere are giving instructions to their children. Daughter, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Your own safety is the most important thing. Son, if you get admitted to the university for superpowers, Daddy will give you a car directly for 5 million Daxia coins. You can choose whatever you want. A high-end villa area in Zhujiang City. Zhao Tingting got into the driver's Alpha commercial car and waved impatiently to a fat woman. Mom, don't be nagging. If I can find the guy who was in the training building yesterday, I will definitely seize the opportunity. Okay, yesterday your father used his connections to find out that the person who broke the record in the training building was a student from your number 2 middle school, and he was also a boy. You have to pay close attention to me, and you must establish a relationship. If we can get in touch with that person, our family might be able to move into the provincial capital in the future. Quote, the obese woman Chen Mengyao said longingly. She specially picked a battle suit for her daughter, just to seduce that guy. At the gate of No. 2 middle school, a dense crowd of people gathered at the school gate. These are all here to send their children to participate in the martial arts exam. Gather at the gate of No. 2 middle school, and then take the school's unified bus to the exam site. Unlike the literary exam, which is to answer questions in the classroom, the martial arts exam is held in a wilderness area outside the city. At this time, parents are giving their children their final instructions, and senior high school students who are taking the college entrance examination are also queuing up for the bus. Zheng Feng locked his bicycle and came to the place where the crowd gathered. Huo, isn't this the waste who awakened the E-level talent? How dare you come? You really don't know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. Others with D-level talents dare not participate. A trash E-level, come here to die. Don't say it, you know the situation of Zheng Feng's family. Shish, keep your voice down, he's here. Zheng Feng ignored the comments of the crowd and had no expression on his face. Dressed in black, with a long sword on his waist, his height of 1.9 meters stood proudly among the crowd. At this time, a contemptuous voice sounded. Zheng Feng, if you kneel down and kowtow to me now, for the sake of our friendship, I can tell the teacher to let you change your choice temporarily. Zhao Tingting and Xiaomei came over, and there was a long-haired man standing beside them. The man who spoke was the long-haired man. He also knew that the big man in the training building yesterday was a senior high school student, and he was in the same batch as them to take the martial arts exam. The long-haired man deliberately searched in the crowd to see if he could find and curry favor with the big man. From a distance, he saw a figure in black clothes, holding an alloy sword, and with an extraordinary temperament. He thought it was that person. As a result, when he got closer, he saw that it was Zhao Tingting's poor relative who had awakened the E-level talent. He was really happy for nothing. Zheng Feng glanced at him and said nothing. The man's eyes flashed with admiration. You also heard about yesterday's incident, right? That big guy's energy bomb shocked the whole campus. Everyone was looking for him. He was also a senior high school student. How do you think you can compare with that big guy? Don't lose face and lose your life. Don't cherish the opportunity given to you. The incident yesterday. Flash bomb. This is the big guy talking about him. Zhao Tingting crossed her arms across her chest, like a fighting cock, looking at him proudly. Why are you telling him this? He wants to rush to die. No one can persuade him. Let him give the big guy a head. But, Zheng Feng, you'd better not say that I'm a relative. I don't want to embarrass myself in front of the big guy. If you want to die, die far away. Don't affect my encounter with the big guy. Oh, Zheng Feng didn't want to pay attention to Zhao Tingting at all. After saying something casually, he walked directly into the school gate. Soon, the bus arrived. After getting on the bus, Zheng Feng got the watch issued by the teacher on the bus. This martial arts exam adopts a points system. The points of the beasts you hunt will be automatically identified by your watch. Depending on the level of the beast, the corresponding points will be different, and the ranking will be based on your points. What is different from the past is that this year's points can be traded with each other. Zheng Feng narrowed his eyes when he heard this. Points can be traded, doesn't it mean that points can be snatched by others? Sure enough, when Zheng Feng understood what this meant, some people on the bus had already found their targets. About an hour later, the bus arrived at the designated location. The martial arts exam officially began. Just when he was about to get off the bus, Zheng Feng was stopped by the teacher on the bus. Boy, I know your situation. If you are in danger, remember to run out directly. We will be waiting here for the next 3 hours. Zheng Feng nodded slightly and thanked the teacher on the bus before getting off the bus. Ahead is a wilderness, and further on, there is a forest. Zheng Feng crossed the wilderness directly and entered the forest. Ting Ting, is that relative of yours who just went into the forest? A boy who was following Zhao Ting Ting glanced curiously at the direction where Zheng Feng disappeared. Did he go inside? Ha ha ha, are you trying to laugh me to death? Even the weakest of the ferocious beasts in the forest has a level 1. Isn't he just looking for death when he goes in? It's probably because that guy didn't do any homework at all and had no idea what was in the forest, so he took the initiative to go in and die. Zhao Tingting sneered, and then she and a few people around her began to hunt for points. Shui Jingru also saw where Zheng Feng was going and frowned slightly, but soon, she also followed in. In the forest, after Zheng Feng came in, he jumped directly onto a tree, stood on the branches, and began to scan the ground. If you want to win this martial arts test, you naturally need enough points. In this forest, there should be prey for him to score enough points. Over there, as if he had discovered something, in an instant, Zheng Feng quickly approached in one direction. Before Zheng Feng came in, other students naturally entered. Qingtian, are you sure you can hunt that mid-level first-order ferocious beast? There were 3 people in the group. The person walking at the end looked around nervously and asked the burly young man walking at the front. Okay, when I came here, I heard that a first-level ferocious beast has about 20 to 50 points. The mid-level first order I found should get 30 points, which will be enough for the 3 of us to split evenly. The young man squatted on the ground, looked for traces, and said something. The next moment, he discovered the trace and pointed directly to the right. It's over there, go over there. On the branches, Zheng Feng kept jumping, quickly approaching the prey he had just discovered. Found it, right there. The 3-person team discovered the ferocious beast by a small river. The mid-level first-order ferocious beast, Lin Yuan turtle. The combat power is not strong, but the defense power is the top level 1 beast. You 2 are responsible for blocking its escape route, and I'll kill him. After shaking hands, the young man said nothing, and suddenly a spear appeared in his hand. The 2 people following behind them looked at each other and then pressed their hands directly on the ground. One of the 2 talents is shadow manipulation, and the other is vines, both of which are sea-level talents. But the control is not weak. Lin Yuangui, who felt the approaching crisis, was about to escape, but his limbs were entangled in shadows and vines respectively. Go! The leader threw out the spear in his hand. A flash of flame instantly enveloped the tip of the spear. Du Qingtian, 7th in the campus rankings, has B-level fire control talent. The tip of the gun touched the shell of the forest turtle, making a metallic collision sound, but leaving no trace at all. Du Qingtian's shot did not break the defense. The defense is a little higher than I thought. Du Qingtian roared. Lock him up. I won't believe it, I can't break through his defense. The spear flew back into his hand and was thrown out again. It bombarded the shell of the forest turtle again and again. Zheng Feng also arrived here at this moment, and at a glance he saw the 3 people below and the locked Linyuan turtle. Rob, or not to grab it? Zheng Feng had the answer instantly. After finally discovering this first-order ferocious beast, he would not let it go to anyone else. Du Qingtian, who was constantly bombarding the turtle shell, also felt the breath coming from behind him. Just when he was about to raise his head, 3 sword energy flew down directly. Boom boom boom. 3 sword energy bombarded Lin Yuangui's back with great precision. Crack! The turtle shell was blasted with 3 marks and shattered directly. Zheng Feng followed up with 3 more sword energy strikes, directly killing the Lin Yuan turtle. How dare you snatch Laozi's prey? Seeing the death of Lin Yuangui, Du Qingtian was angry. He finally found this ferocious beast, but someone beat him to it right in front of him. Get off Laozi and tell Laozi who you are. Zheng Feng could not pay attention to Du Qingtian, who was going crazy at this moment, turned around and left. Ding! A clear voice sounded. The points for killing Lin Yuan turtle have arrived. 30 points. Rank 108. Killer. Zheng Feng. 3 lines of text continued to appear on the watch, but in the end only the number 30, which represented points, was left. It's actually ranked 108th. Zheng Feng looked at his ranking and was slightly surprised. Corresponding messages were also displayed on other people's watches at this moment. Some people didn't pay much attention, but some people still saw it. Zheng Feng, 30 points. What did he do? It should just be someone with the same name. Doesn't the Zheng Feng we know only have an E-level talent? It's definitely not him. If it were really him, I would give him all the points I got. Others did not believe that this Zheng Feng was the Zheng Feng they knew, except for 3 people. Du Qingtian looked at the names that appeared after Lin Yuangui's death, and naturally knew who had just snatched his points. Zheng Feng, don't let me meet you again, or I will definitely cramp and skin you. How dare you snatch Laozi's prey? You really don't want to live anymore. Zheng Feng has naturally gone away at this moment, and he also knows that he has snatched Du Qingtian's prey, and the other party will not let him go easily. It's not that he's worried that he's no match for him. It's just that Du Qingtian probably doesn't have any points at the moment. Even if he defeats Du Qingtian, he won't gain much. It would be better to let Du Qingtian develop first. Fattened fish taste delicious. He was still jumping forward on the branches. From time to time, Zheng Feng would stop and look around, searching for traces of ferocious beasts. Only 30 points, ranked 108, is still too few. Finally, about 10 minutes later, Zheng Feng found traces of a vicious beast again. That ferocious beast was similar to Lin Yuan turtle, and both belonged to the mid-level first-order ferocious beast. However, in comparison, there were many people eyeing this ferocious beast. Zheng Feng just took a rough look and found that at least 3 teams were eyeing the beast. There was actually an acquaintance of his in one of the teams. Zhao Tingting and her best friend were following a man, carefully hiding behind a bush. Brother Tian, how confident are you about this ferocious beast? Zhao Tingting stared at the man in front of her with admiration. Yi Lingtian, ranked 5th on the campus rankings, possesses B-level talent Cyclops, and is much stronger than Du Qingtian. Don't worry, the prey I'm targeting will never be able to escape. You two just need to be supportive later, and I'll kill that ferocious beast. Yi Lingtian smiled coldly and turned to look at the 2 women behind him. His eyes kept falling on certain plump parts of the 2 people, his eyes filled with greed. Brother Tian is awesome. Brother Tian, you will definitely get a good ranking in this martial arts test. By then, you won't be able to choose those colleges at your will. When the 2 women heard Yi Lingtian's speech, they both exclaimed. Standing on a big tree not far from them, Zheng Feng couldn't help but sneered. He could conclude that Yi Lingtian was unable to handle that ferocious beast. Although this ferocious beast is in the middle of the first level, it is obviously breaking through to the late first level. You know, although they are all first-level ferocious beasts. But once you move from the midterm to the late stage, it will be a comprehensive reminder. Once the forest turtle enters the late stage, even Blade Storm may not be able to break through its defense so easily. The attack intensity of this ferocious beast in front of him is much higher than that of Lin Yuan turtle. Moreover, the probability that he will move from the midterm to the late stage this time is very high. Once Yi Lingtian takes action rashly, he will be seriously injured even if he is not dead. Zheng Feng was not in a hurry to take action, he was still preparing to watch a good show. Attention, the ferocious beast has stopped and is preparing to attack. Yi Lingtian looked at the ferocious beast again. When he saw it stopped, he immediately gave instructions to the 2 women beside him. The 3 of them started together, bent down, and kept approaching the ferocious beast. Not far away from the 3 of them, a creature similar to a lizard was lying on the ground, with cracks appearing on its skin. This is the precursor to its advancement. As the skin continued to crack, spikes shining with cold light protruded from under his body. Yi Lingtian naturally knew what the other party's situation was. His expression suddenly became serious. There were 2 women following behind him, so it was hard for him to say that this guy might not be able to deal with him. The only thing to do is to bite the bullet. At the same time, I prayed in my heart that the guy failed to advance. Once the ferocious beast fails to advance, it will fall into a period of weakness, and it can naturally be killed easily. The other teams obviously didn't have this idea, and they planned to finish hunting the beast before it advanced. Someone rushed out directly. The ferocious beast reacted instantly and glanced at the guy rushing towards it. The bone spurs growing on the body shot out instantly. Zhao Tingting, who was not far away from the battlefield, felt a touch of tenderness on her face in just an instant. Touch it gently with your hand. Blood. The person who rushed out had his body pierced by the bone spurs and fell to the ground shaking. The blood on his body kept splashing out from the places where the bone spurs were pierced. Zhao Tingting immediately covered her mouth, not daring to take a breath. The other people in the team did not hesitate at all when they saw this scene. They all knew that this vicious beast was no longer something they could hunt. Someone has told them this truth with blood and life. Yi Lingtian was also hesitant, and Zhao Tingting behind him asked in a trembling voice. Brother Tian, do we have to retreat too? Retreat? Retreat for what? Don't you believe I can take care of this beast? Yi Lingtian snorted coldly. The next moment, his eyes instantly turned red, and a red light shot directly from them. A bone spur was instantly melted upon contact with the light. That ferocious beast has discovered their location. The most important thing is that the ferocious beast has finished shedding its skin and has truly entered the late first level. Yi Lingtian gritted his teeth. He knew that even if he wanted to retreat now, there was no other way. The other party has already targeted me. Call. Exhaling a breath of turbid air, Yi Lingtian turned on all firepower. You two try to control that guy. As long as you can control it for 10 seconds, I can kill it. When Zhao Tingting and her best friend heard this, they also knew that there was no way out. Take action one after another. Attack after attack flew towards the ferocious beast. But without exception, all attacks were easily blocked by the ferocious beast. Roar. An angry roar suddenly roared out from the mouth of the ferocious beast, and bone spurs fell like rain towards the location of Yi Lingtian and others. 2 losers. Yi Lingtian roared, took out a breastplate-like object from his arms and threw it into the air. A faint energy barrier appeared instantly. Countless bone spurs landed on it, making constant noises. Hurry up and do it. Otherwise, what's the use of you? This thing can only block it for 2 minutes. If we can't trap that guy in 2 minutes, we will all die. Yi Lingtian was really panicked. Zhao Tingting and her best friend were completely frightened at this moment, as if they didn't hear Yi Lingtian's shouting. 2 minutes passed quickly, and all the energy barriers dissipated. Countless bone spurs fell straight down. Yi Lingtian closed his eyes unwillingly. At this moment, a sword energy suddenly flew out and cut off all the bone spurs one by one. A figure also fell in front of the 3 people. Zheng Feng turned his head and glanced at Zhao Tingting. Yeah, you're here too. If I had known, I wouldn't have saved you. Zheng Feng, what are you doing here? Seeing the person falling in front of her, Zhao Tingting was a little surprised at first. But after seeing clearly who the visitor was, a look of ridicule suddenly appeared on his face. Who did I think it was? It turns out to be you, a loser. You may as well come and act as a human shield for us. Brother Tian, hurry up, while this guy is here, use him as a human shield. We might still have a chance. Yi Lingtian glanced at Zhao Tingting and said nothing. You all hurry up and get out, leave this place to me. Zheng Feng smiled coldly and looked at the ferocious beast. Remember who saved you this time, and before the martial arts test is over, remember to give me the points for protecting you. I won't charge you more, just 30 points per person. Bah, who do you think you are? A person with an E-level talent, how dare you ask us for points? Hearing Zheng Feng's words at this moment, Zhao Tingting immediately sneered. What, are you crazy about wanting points? If you want points, you have to have a life to get them. I'm afraid that after we leave, you will die here soon. Zheng Feng didn't have time to continue bickering with Zhao Tingting. That ferocious beast wouldn't just stand there and watch the show. Countless bone spurs once again fell from the sky like a heavy rain, heading straight towards Zheng Feng. It also knows who is the strongest among the 4 people in front of it. At this moment, Zheng Feng unhurriedly pulled out the alloy sword. Blade storm. Countless rays of sword energy swept out from the alloy sword, cutting off all the bone spurs in just an instant. The ferocious beast realized something was wrong and was about to flee, but was already being chased by the sword energy. In the blink of an eye, the body was divided into 4 parts. Ding! Another crisp sound sounded. 40 points are instantly credited to your account. Counting the previous 30 points, Zheng Feng now has 70 points. The ranking also rose directly from the original 108 to 96. I wonder if I am qualified to ask you to give me points now. Zheng Feng turned around but did not put down the sword in his hand. It seemed that if the 3 people in front of them said no, the sword energy just now would fall on them. But at this moment, Zheng Feng felt a strange aura. He didn't stop at all, turned around and rushed towards the direction where the breath came from. Seeing Zheng Feng just walking away, the 3 of them were stunned on the spot. How can that kid be so powerful? Zhao Tingting murmured. What's so great about it? That ferocious beast was seriously injured by my attack from the very beginning. That guy just got lucky and made up for a little damage in the end. As long as he has some confidence in his heart and dares to say one more word, I will also explain it here. Yi Lingtian snorted coldly at this moment. His tone was full of resentment. I see. Zhao Tingting's eyes also lit up. Her relative was a pure waste. How could he be so powerful? It must be what Yi Lingtian said. That guy was lucky, he just missed it. Are you afraid of being exposed and run away immediately? Next time I see him, I must let him know how powerful I am. How dare you scare us? Why don't you pee and look at yourself to see what kind of trash you are? Zhao Tingting seemed to be still angry after scolding her, and spat several times in the direction where Zheng Feng had left. At the same time, Zheng Feng followed the strange aura just now and gradually moved towards the center of the forest. This kind of aura can only come out in one situation. The opponent is a ferocious beast at the early stage of the 2nd level. Moreover, it is still the kind of ferocious beast with special abilities. However, for Zheng Feng, as long as it is not a level 3 ferocious beast, he still has a chance to kill it. The closer you are to the center of the forest, the higher the level of the beast will be. And there will be fewer students entering here. But not entirely. While Zheng Feng was jumping rapidly on the branches, he was still caught by some people on the ground. In a cave, Shui Jingru's face was pale, and blood was constantly flowing down one arm. She was not planning to enter the forest originally, but when she saw Zheng Feng coming in, she was worried that something might happen to him, so she followed him in. Unexpectedly, after entering the forest, she immediately lost track of Zheng Feng. He was even extremely unlucky and met a mandala spider, a 2nd-level early-stage ferocious beast. While escaping, her arm was accidentally hit by a mandala spider. It's not a very important thing that the wound is bleeding. The most important thing is that the mandala spider has strong poison. At this moment, a fishy smell appeared at the scar on her arm. The blood flowing out gradually changed from dark red to pitch black ink. Am I going to die here? Shui Jingru finally couldn't bear it any longer, and tears gradually rolled down her cheeks. Swiss, swiss, swish. The rustling sound gradually approached outside the cave. The venom of the mandala spider also has a certain positioning function. Don't think too much, it must be the mandala spider that is catching up. Taking a deep breath and wiping her tears with her uninjured arm, Shui Jingru stood up again. Even if you die, you must die standing. Even because of the toxin, her head was gradually getting dizzy at the moment. A mandala spider with a dark body and red eyes slowly revealed its true appearance on the grass outside the cave entrance. A pair of eyes stared at Shui Jingru in the cave. It seemed that in its eyes, Shui Jingru was already a dead person. Zheng Feng also stopped when he saw this huge mandala spider. Even he took a breath at this time. This guy is not that easy to deal with. I don't know which unlucky guy was so unlucky to bump into this guy. But soon, he also saw Shui Jingru in the cave. Monitor, I'll go. Without the slightest hesitation, Zheng Feng just swung out a burst of sword energy in an instant. The mandala spider also instantly felt the sword energy coming from behind, and its huge body moved flexibly. Kankan dodged those sword energy. Those sword energy fell on the ground instantly, splashing up a cloud of dust. Who is it? With her beautiful eyes turning, Shui Jingru naturally looked outside curiously. Soon, she saw a familiar figure. Zhang Feng's feet suddenly exerted force and directly passed over the huge body of the mandala spider. He fell in front of Shui Jingru. He didn't turn around, he just held the alloy sword in his hand tightly. Squad leader, leave the next step to me. Seeing Zhang Feng standing in front of her, Shui Jingru was extremely excited at first. But he quickly realized that the man in front of him only had an E-level talent, and he had no chance of winning against the mandala spider in front of him. Zhang Feng, get out of the way, you are no match for it. I have a way to die with it, don't die in vain. Shui Jingru endured the discomfort caused by the virus and walked behind Zhang Feng, trying to force him into the cave. But at this moment, Zhang Feng stood in front of his eyes, as if there were roots in the soles of his feet, not moving at all no matter what. Monitor, trust me, just watch quietly. Zhang Feng didn't look back, but he couldn't hide the confidence in his tone. At this moment, Shui Jingru was naturally stunned for a moment. Careful, in the end, she just said this and couldn't hold on any longer, and she collapsed directly on the ground. Looking at the mandala spider in front of him, Zhang Feng also took a deep breath. Just relying on Blade Storm may not be able to easily defeat this guy. If necessary, it seems that I have to use the Vitality Bomb in advance. The Datura spider was ready to strike first, and a colorful Madara thread was shot directly from its abdomen. In just an instant, Zhang Feng also wielded countless sword energy. Just wipe out all those spider silks. Taking advantage of this opportunity, one of the mandala spider's spider legs was already waving towards Zhang Feng. Boom! Holding an alloy sword in his hand, he forcefully resisted the spider's leg. Fortunately, it was replaced by this alloy sword. If it were still the same junk I used before, I'm afraid it would be broken into pieces. Zhang Feng, who blocked a spider's leg, didn't have a moment to breathe. Another spider leg was already waving towards him. There is no other way, just do it hard. At this moment, Zhang Feng waved his fist and struck another spider leg hard. Although it is still blocked, but the dense burrs on the spider's legs still left many wounds on Zhang Feng's fists. In an instant, the mandala spider did not make any more attacks, but instead took a few steps back. Zhang Feng, who was hurt, also knew exactly what this meant. It's not that the other party is afraid of something in his heart, or that he doesn't want to continue fighting. Instead, that blow directly injected the poison into Zhang Feng's body. A tingling feeling instantly spread throughout Zhang Feng's body. In just an instant, Zhang Feng knew that he should make a quick decision. Otherwise, he and Shui Jingru would definitely die here. Taking a deep breath, Zhang Feng's eyes fell directly on the mandala spider. A bright light slowly gathered in the palm of his hand. After he raised his hands above his head, the mandala spider finally felt something was wrong. But at this moment, all its chi machines have been locked by the vitality bullets in Zhang Feng's hand, and it is too late to escape even if it wants to. Of course, Zhang Feng didn't wait for the vitality bomb to reach its strongest output state before throwing it out. The paralysis caused by the toxin forced him to release it early. The vitality bomb followed the mandala spider closely and bombarded its body in an instant. There was a flash of white light. All the spider's legs were blown off, and half of its body disappeared. While he was still unconscious, Zhang Feng went directly to the mandala spider that had completely lost its breath and took out its spider sac. The antidote to the Datura spider's venom is found in the spider's sac. He used an alloy sword to separate the spider sac and took out the white liquid inside. Zhang Feng first applied some to the wound on his hand, and then quickly came to Shui Jingru's side. Chapter 11. Shui Jingru's face was completely dark at this moment, but fortunately it was the white liquid in the spider sac that Zhang Feng brought. Regardless of whether men and women were kissing or not, he tore the clothes off Shui Jingru's shoulders and completely smeared the white liquid on it. When applying, it is inevitable to see a hint of spring. How could Zhang Feng resist this? He suddenly had nosebleeds gushing out. While applying it, Shui Jingru slowly woke up. Seeing Zhang Feng's actions at this moment, he subconsciously stepped back immediately. After seeing clearly what Zheng Feng was holding at the moment, his face turned red. After Zheng Feng finished applying it, she quickly pulled up her clothes to block the gleam of spring light. Wipe your nosebleed. Blushing, Shui Jingru turned her head, not daring to look at Zheng Feng. Zheng Feng also quickly wiped it with his arm. Squad leader, although you have detoxified, you'd better not stay here anymore. In your current state, even a ferocious beast at the early stage of the first level could kill you. Regarding the current situation, Zheng Feng said kindly. And Shui Jingru also knew her current situation very well, and she knew that Zheng Feng was right. But if I just give up, what will happen to my favorite school? It's just such an opportunity, it would be a pity to miss it. As if aware of Shui Jingru's thoughts, Zheng Feng directly grabbed her arm. What are you doing? Shui Jingru naturally didn't know what Zheng Feng was going to do, so she yelled subconsciously. But the next moment, the watch on her wrist lit up. The points reached 180 in an instant. Monitor, these points should be enough for you, right? In fact, they must have done some research before taking the martial arts exam. Generally, if the score exceeds 150, you can actually report it to domestic colleges and universities, and most of them can be successfully admitted. Not to mention, now that Shui Jingru's score has reached 180, she can naturally get into the school of her choice. You gave me all your points, what will you do? Seeing Zheng Feng's points reset to 0 at this moment, Shui Jingru couldn't help but frown. I'm fine, I was able to earn so many points before, and it wasn't just luck. Besides, aren't there still 2 hours left? There's still time. Zheng Feng didn't care much about this. The ferocious beast at the early stage of the second level just gave me 100 points at once. As long as he is hunting one, Zheng Feng's points can completely catch up. But, Shui Jingru was still preparing to say something. But Zheng Feng had already gotten up and came to the entrance of the cave. Squad leader, you have helped me many times before, I will only help you this time, don't shirk it. If I really can't earn points after that, no matter what, you can give me half of it before the end. After saying that, Zheng Feng turned around and left a bright smile, then turned and left the next moment. Not long after, Zheng Feng saw Zhao Tingting again. It seems that they have just gained a lot of points. In this case, it is time to collect the previous interest. Zhao Tingting still followed Yi Lingtian, and the three of them had smiles on their faces. It seems that they have gained a lot just now. Zheng Feng stood on the branch, his eyes also fell on their watches. The points displayed on it were extremely clear to Zheng Feng at this moment. The three of them already had 30 points. Although not much, it was still difficult for them to go to some better colleges. However, what does this have to do with Zheng Feng? He sneered immediately. Just as the three were about to rush to the next area, a figure fell in front of them. I say, you three, it's time to give me the interest. The person who appeared in front of the three was naturally Zheng Feng. Seeing Zheng Feng appearing in front of her, the smile on Zhao Tingting's face instantly converged, and then there was a deep sneer. Zheng Feng, I advise you to weigh your own strength. A guy with E-level talent is pretending in front of us. You don't think that the beast was really killed by you, right? It really makes me laugh. If you hadn't suddenly barged in, Brother Tian would have killed it. You got a bargain for nothing, and now you are pretending. Yi Lingtian, who was standing aside, couldn't help but snorted coldly at this moment. Why are you talking so much nonsense with this guy? If he wants the points in our hands, let him try it. I won't hold back. If he dies here, he can only blame his bad luck. Zheng Feng shook his head helplessly. Since he was unwilling to cooperate actively, he didn't mind taking action. When the two sides were about to have a dispute, a broadcast sounded in the forest. Attention all students, unknown energy fluctuations have been detected in the central area of the forest. Please prepare to evacuate. Please prepare to evacuate. Warning, please prepare to evacuate. The few people who heard the broadcast also frowned together. Boy, you are lucky, otherwise, I will let you taste my power today. Let's go. Yi Lingtian looked at Zheng Feng with disdain, and took the two women behind him to evacuate the forest. Zheng Feng did not stop them, but looked into the depths of the forest. What happened inside? At the moment the broadcast sounded, he found that there seemed to be a lot of ferocious beasts, which were constantly rushing out of it. Just staying here for a while, Zheng Feng saw several first-level primary ferocious beasts jumping past him. Even if they saw him, they did not stop at all. It seemed that after weighing the pros and cons, leaving the current location was more important than devouring Zheng Feng. However, this naturally gave a bold person a huge benefit. These ferocious beasts that would not actively attack naturally became their targets. Only about 10 minutes later, there were more than a dozen murderer corpses around Zheng Feng. His points also came to 100 points again. Ranked 87. But Zheng Feng was not happy at this time. Since he could quickly obtain so many points, the other guys who were still in the forest would also be able to obtain similar points. In this way, the points he gave to Shui Jingru would invisibly lower her ranking. No, I have to ensure that the monitor has enough points to go to the college she likes. What to do? I can only snatch the points from other guys. After Zheng Feng had this idea in his mind, he also locked the location of the few people still in the forest and sneaked over. Outside the forest, beside the school bus, students who came to take the martial arts exam were basically gathered together. After the teacher on board the bus roughly counted the number of people, he frowned slightly. There are still 5 people in the forest who have not come out. 4 of them should be the top 4 in the school rankings. They are quite strong and should not be in too much danger. But there is one last guy left, who seems to be E-class. What is he doing? Shui Jingru, who had come out a long time ago, also searched around nervously, but did not see Zheng Feng. Is he still in the forest now? Is it all your fault? He gave all the points to himself. He must still be searching for his own points now, right? Chen Tingting, who had just returned to the team, was still standing next to Yi Lingtian. She also noticed that Zheng Feng, who had just stopped in front of her, did not come out, and she couldn't help but complain a few words. That Zheng Feng must have been frightened by those ferocious beasts in the forest, right? He hasn't come out yet. That's for sure. For a guy with an E-level talent, the roar of a first-level ferocious beast will make him collapse to the ground, right? I was paralyzed on the ground. I couldn't stop looking at him. I was afraid I might have peed my pants. I just said, why you haven't come out yet? I guess you peed your pants. I'm too embarrassed to come out to see people. Chen Tingting was still talking, but someone suddenly came in front of her. Snapped. A crisp slap sounded. Shui Jingru, who came to Chen Tingting, raised her hand rudely and slapped her in the face. Shui Jingru, are you crazy? Chen Tingting looked at Shui Jingru in front of her in disbelief. What right does she have to hit herself? Or in front of so many classmates? Yi Lingtian also frowned slightly at this moment and said to Shui Jingru in a cold voice. Shui Jingru, you have gone too far. But all she got was Shui Jingru's extremely cold eyes. For a moment, Yi Lingtian didn't dare to say anything when he saw this look. Shui Jingru is indeed not as strong as herself, but the family behind her is not something she can afford to offend. It doesn't matter if all of you don't like Zheng Feng, but Chen Tingting is his cousin no matter what you say. How could you say that? I feel ashamed for you. Chen Tingting covered her face at the moment, and immediately sneered when she heard Shui Jingru's words. A loser still wants to be my relative. Since you like him so much, then let him be your relative. I want to see if the relative you are so optimistic about can come out alive. Shui Jingru's expression remained unchanged, but she turned around and looked into the forest. I believe in him. When the time comes, all of you will wait and see. Shui Jingru's voice was not loud, but it was still heard by everyone. Ha 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 ha. Waves of ridicule continued behind her. Zheng Feng didn't know what was happening outside. At this moment, he was already standing in front of another person. In the astonished eyes of the other party, Zheng Feng stretched out his wrist towards the other party and pointed. The meaning is obvious, I want his points. Are you looking for death? Su Fengyu squinted his eyes and looked at Zheng Feng who came to him, his tone full of murderous intent. Su Fengyu, ranked 4th in the academy, was nicknamed Tyrant. B-level talent strengthens the body owner. Looking for death. Sorry, you are not qualified yet. I don't want all of your points, as long as you give me the part over 100. Then you can leave this forest. Zheng Feng didn't waste any words and expressed his thoughts directly. Su Fengyu snorted coldly, and the muscles all over his body swelled. He had already decided to kill this rude guy here. Zheng Feng, who understood Su Fengyu's intention, shook his head helplessly. I really don't want to take action. The guy in front of me does have some strength, but it's still not enough in front of me. At this moment, Su Fengyu completely locked Zheng Feng's energy. Just for a moment, his legs suddenly exerted force, and his whole body was like a cannonball, hitting directly towards Zheng Feng's position. Boom! Dust flew up, but Zheng Feng was not hurt in any way. At this moment, he had already stood aside. He also shook his head slightly towards Su Fengyu, who smashed a big hole in the ground. Your strength is indeed very strong, but your speed is too slow. My grandma will come faster than you. This was the first time Su Fengyu encountered such ridicule. As the owner of the title, Tyrant, he naturally couldn't swallow this breath. Without any more nonsense with Zheng Feng, he turned around suddenly and punched out. There was a slight explosion in the air. In this circle, Su Fengyu was very confident. A normal mid-level first-order ferocious beast would definitely die if it took a hit. Of course, there is no need to say more about the guy who came out to provoke me. But soon, he froze on the spot. The fist he threw out seemed to be stuck by something, unable to move at all. What was blocking his fist was actually that guy's hands. Well, the speed is okay this time, but it's still far from enough. Zheng Feng nodded and praised, but there was still a touch of disdain in his tone. At this moment, he suddenly exerted force with his hands, and Su Fengyu seemed to be forcibly moved and began to fly in the direction where he was. Boom! Su Fengyu's chest was directly kicked by Zheng Feng. In addition, Zheng Feng immediately let go of his hand at this time, and he flew out directly. Boom boom boom. After hitting several big trees in a row, Su Fengyu stopped. Touching his chest, he clearly felt Zheng Feng's strength just now. It's almost not much different from the power he had in that state just now. This is the first time you've pushed me into this state. I originally prepared this for Shui Tianyuan, but I didn't expect that it would be used on you first. Die. Su Fengyu stood up and took a deep breath. The muscles on his body began to squirm in a strange pattern. With every squirm, the muscles on his body began to thicken a little. By the end, the entire person's body seemed to be completely condensed from a stone. An unparalleled aura began to spread around him. Kill, he shouted loudly. Su Fengyu disappeared directly on the spot. No, it shouldn't be said that it disappeared. But his speed was so fast that the naked eye could no longer capture traces of his actions. Zheng Feng also frowned slightly at this moment. He could only vaguely capture Su Fengyu's body. The opponent's strength has improved a lot again. In this state, Su Fengyu is already as strong as the first person in the academy. It is far more difficult to deal with than the mandala spider before. Take a deep breath. Zheng Feng took out his alloy sword. Mandala spiders have snake venom, but you, Su Fengyu, don't have it. Bladestorm. Zheng Feng didn't hide anything at all, and was on full fire at this moment. The output of Bladestorm has been adjusted to the maximum. Countless sword energy, shining with cold light, kept rushing forward. Boom boom boom. There were constant explosions, and countless sword energy landed on Su Fengyu's body. The powerful and indiscriminate attack forced him to slow down at this moment. Zheng Feng, who was unable to capture his figure before, also clearly saw Su Fengyu's position at this moment. A burst of sword energy flew out again, all concentrated in a certain area of Zheng Feng's body. Traces of blood naturally appeared slowly on Su Fengyu's body. In the end, he couldn't hold on any longer, and Su Fengyu flew backwards, and the changes in his body disappeared rapidly. I lost. Su Fengyu, who was lying on the ground, stared blankly at the sky and murmured something. At this moment, Zheng Feng also stretched out his hand and wiped the sweat that overflowed from his forehead. Fortunately, I can still attack all, otherwise I am afraid that I may not be able to win this time. He slowly walked to Su Fengyu's side. Su Fengyu saw him from the corner of his eye, and slowly stretched out his hand with the watch. Take the points you want. I lost. Zheng Feng was naturally not polite and put his watch up. According to what he said before, he still left 100 points for Su Fengyu. And his own points also reached 220 at this moment. The ranking has been updated again, and now his ranking has reached 50th. They have already exceeded 200 points, and there are so many perverts. Sure enough, the competition is still fierce. Zheng Feng muttered something, and then stretched out his hand to pull Su Fengyu up from the ground. Who are you? Why haven't I seen you in school before? Su Fengyu, who had recovered a little, stared at Zheng Feng. He knew all the top 10 monsters in the academy, but he had never seen this guy before him. I am Zheng Feng. Zheng Feng still had a good impression of Su Fengyu. Although he is nicknamed Tyrant, this guy actually has a pretty good temper. Zheng Feng, that E-level talent owner. Impossible, absolutely impossible. You are an E-level talent, how could you be so strong? After knowing Zheng Feng's identity, Su Fengyu was naturally filled with disbelief. Did you see me using my abilities from beginning to end? Read more newspapers, eat less snacks and sleep more, and you can get to where I am without your abilities. Zheng Feng said very seriously. Su Fengyu nodded immediately. It seemed that he really believed it. What are your plans next? Su Fengyu stood up and asked Zheng Feng. There are 3 guys left, and I will take their points into my own hands. Listening to Zheng Feng's follow-up arrangements at this moment, Su Fengyu couldn't help but frown a few times. This guy, for a moment, he really didn't know how to describe him. The rest of the guys should be no match for you, but you have to be careful with Shui Tianyuan. His ability is terrifying. Although the school claims that his talent is only B, I feel that he should be an A-level talent. Otherwise it wouldn't be so scary. As he spoke, Su Fengyu's body couldn't help but tremble slightly. It seemed that he recalled his previous fight with Shui Tianyuan. Well, I understand. Don't worry, no matter whether he is an A-level talent or some other level talent, I am sure that I can defeat him. Zheng Feng said these words and then turned around to leave. When Su Fengyu saw him looking so confident, he shook his head helplessly. He actually wanted to follow up to see what kind of fierce battle Zheng Feng would break out after meeting Shui Tianyuan. But the injury on his body at this moment is actually very inconvenient. The smell of blood was constantly escaping from his wounds. Many ferocious beasts nearby were actually ready to move after smelling this smell. The primitive animal nature is constantly impacting their brains. There was no other way. Su Fengyu knew that he could no longer stay inside, so he left and walked out of the forest. Look, someone is coming out again. It's Su Fengyu, the 4th-ranked Su Fengyu. Let me go. Su Fengyu's body is covered with blood marks. Did he encounter a powerful beast in the forest? Everyone on the school bus started talking quietly when they saw Su Fengyu coming. Su Fengyu walked up to the crowd and just glanced at them slightly. They didn't give any answers to what they were discussing at the moment. They simply found a relatively empty place, sat down cross-legged, and began to close their eyes and meditate. Shui Jingru also noticed the scars on Su Fengyu's body. It seems like it was cut out by sword energy. Could it be? An idea quietly appeared in her mind. When did that guy become so powerful? Even Su Fengyu was defeated by him. In the forest, Zheng Feng was approaching the remaining people, but the ground was shaking constantly at this moment. Just when Zheng Feng saw the 2nd-ranked person, before he even hurriedly took action, the person let out a scream. The frequency of the ground shaking has obviously accelerated a lot. The next moment, a tentacle suddenly stretched out from under the ground and penetrated the man's chest at an extremely fast speed. Even until now, that person has not had time to release his ability. Coincidentally, at the moment when this man was directly killed by the vines underground, the same scream was heard again in the distance. Another breath disappeared instantly. In other words, according to Zheng Feng's perception, only himself and one other person are left in this forest. The remaining people either retreated from the forest or died. Squatting down on the branch, Zheng Feng began to slowly observe the vine tentacle on the ground. After piercing the man's chest, the vine tentacle seemed to stop moving and became completely still. If Zheng Feng hadn't just seen that guy's actions with his own eyes, he might have thought it was just a simple vine that was harmless to humans and animals. You found out, right? Just when Zheng Feng, who was squatting on the branch, stood up, a sound suddenly came from the tree trunk next to his ear. Zheng Feng subconsciously pulled out the alloy sword. Don't worry, I'm not an enemy. The sound came from the tree trunk again, And next, a human figure appeared on the tree trunk. The human form gradually began to solidify, and then gradually peeled off from the tree trunk. A person just appeared next to Zheng Feng. Squinting his eyes, he looked a bit harmless. But instinct told Zheng Feng that the guy next to him was dangerous. More dangerous than everyone he met, even the ferocious beasts. Are you Zheng Feng? The person who came out of the tree trunk looked at Zheng Feng up and down and asked with a smile. Zheng Feng didn't deny it, he nodded generously and admitted it. Who are you? Didn't my sister tell you about me? No, I will talk about him properly when we meet later. My name is Shui Tianyuan, you must have heard of me, right? Shui Tianyuan. Zheng Feng took a deep breath, and the number 1 student in the academy appeared next to him. But who is the sister he talks about? My sister is Shui Jingru. What, don't we look alike? Zheng Feng immediately took a breath when he heard this. Shui Tianyuan is actually Shui Jingru's brother. Needless to say, if you take a closer look, the two of them are still somewhat similar. Okay, let's solve the current difficulty. This ferocious beast seems to be a little different. As long as it is not moving on the ground, it seems that it will not attack. So, are you going to get out of the tree trunk first, or do you decide to deal with this guy before going out? There's only 1 hour left before the martial arts exam ends. Zheng Feng glanced at the vine tentacle again, and then took a deep breath. What about you? How do you choose? He did not rush to answer, but asked Shui Tianyuan first. Of course I will kill this ferocious beast. How about we score 50 to 50 points then? Shui Tianyuan responded with a smile. It seemed that he was completely confident that he could kill this beast. Okay, I don't have any objection to 1 person and half. In that case, leave it to me to kill the main body, and you will be mainly responsible for helping me deal with these vines above. If we work together separately, it shouldn't take long to deal with this guy. Shui Tianyuan looked towards the ground and put forward his own thoughts to Zheng Feng. Zheng Feng jumped directly to the ground without saying a word. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Let's start taking action. Shui Tianyuan smiled slightly. He seemed to like Zheng Feng like this very much. After Zheng Feng shouted to start taking action, his feet gradually integrated into the branches. Then the whole person disappeared directly into the branches. Zheng Feng, who was already fighting the vines, instantly sensed Shui Tianyuan's disappearance. This kid actually lied to me. Did he run away on his own? Shui Tianyuan just disappeared, and Zheng Feng actually couldn't care about it at this time. The moment he landed, the vine aimed directly at him. In almost an instant, the vine rushed towards him. The alloy sword in his hand was directly held tightly by Zheng Feng. His eyes were fixed on the vine, and almost in an instant, the sword in his hand moved. Countless sword energies were swung out wildly. The vines that came into contact with the sword energy broke instantly. In just a moment, the ground was covered with strange twisting vines. Call. Zheng Feng exhaled. It seemed that this vine was not as difficult to deal with as he thought. But just as he was thinking this, the vines that had broken into pieces gathered together in an instant. It was as if it had never been cut off. The vine twisted its body again and rushed towards Zheng Feng crazily. Still doing the same operation as before, the rich sword energy instantly overwhelmed the vines. The vines broke again, but it was different from last time. This time, when the vines recovered, they were no longer a single one, but became 2. It completes the split. Zheng Feng frowned slightly. This was really something he didn't expect. But he had no choice but to face the offensive of this vine, so he had no choice but to use his sword energy again and chop the vines into pieces again. 3 of them. It seems that every rebirth after a break will increase the number of vines. Trouble is, even if you evacuate from here now, there is no way to avoid the pursuit of this vine. Zheng Feng frowned tightly. Shui Tianyuan really did harm to himself. If there is a way for me to get out of here alive, I must go to Shui Tianyuan to settle the accounts properly. No matter if you are Shui Jingru's brother or not, if you dare to provoke me, just wait. Zheng Feng cursed fiercely in his heart, and then the movements of his hands did not stop there. The sword energy was still pouring out crazily. After cutting off the vines in front of him again, Zheng Feng took a deep breath. He was ready to use the vitality bomb. Just clear all these vines at once. He believed that he could do it. As long as he blasted all these vines into powder, they would never be able to regenerate again. Just when Zheng Feng was about to use all his strength, Shui Tianyuan's voice suddenly came from the ground. 1 minute later I can successfully kill this guy. Just when Zheng Feng was wondering why Shui Tianyuan appeared again, the rolling on the ground became more intense. Those reborn vines seemed to have given up targeting Zheng Feng, and instead retracted toward the ground with all their strength. Zheng Feng, who knew that Shui Tianyuan was not deceiving him, naturally would not let these vines get away from him and find Shui Tianyuan, who did not know when he went underground. When those vines kept retreating, Zheng Feng stepped forward and grabbed one of them. After forcefully pulling him out, the remaining vines felt Zheng Feng's obstruction and roared towards him. But without exception, they were all shattered by the sword energy. Rebirth, crush, reborn again, crush again, and back and forth. At this moment, Zheng Feng's front was already covered with sharp vines. Cut! A dull voice came from the ground, and immediately after the words fell, those snarling vines instantly lost all their vitality. One by one, the color of the vines gradually faded away, turning into withered yellow and falling weakly to the ground. The color gradually turns yellow, eventually turning into dust on the ground. After confirming that these guys would not resurrect again, Zheng Feng finally breathed a sigh of relief. Above the ground, a human figure also slowly rose. Zheng Feng, who had seen the scene before, naturally knew what was going on. Not surprisingly, it should be Shui Tianyuan. Well done. It was still Zheng Feng's very familiar smile. This guy was actually given 120 points after being killed. Come on, as promised before, I'll give you 60 points. As he said that, Shui Tianyuan also stretched out the watch on his wrist towards him. The points were exchanged, and Zheng Feng's points reached 280 points. The ranking also reached 11th place. It's a big leap. As long as you work hard, it's not impossible to get ranked first. After exchanging points, Shui Tianyuan also spoke to Zheng Feng. I'm getting ready to evacuate. There seems to be a guy coming out of the central area of the forest. Otherwise, we wouldn't have met that thing just now. Are you going to stay in or go out with me? You should have enough points, right? Facing Shui Tianyuan's choice, Zheng Feng also nodded slightly. Now there are only 2 of them left in the forest, and there is really no need to stay here. Especially at this time, Zheng Feng could already feel an extremely terrifying aura, which was slowly approaching from the center of the forest towards the periphery. I'll go out with you too. Anyway, the time for the martial arts test is coming. Shui Tianyuan nodded slightly, and then the 2 of them walked outside together. Behind the plain outside the forest, the moment Shui Tianyuan and Zheng Feng walked out side by side, Su Fengyu, who was sitting on the ground with his eyes closed to rest, immediately opened his eyes. He naturally looked at the 2 people walking out side by side. In his eyes, only these 2 guys can be his enemies. Look, it's Shui Tianyuan who is number 1 in the school. I'll go. This is the first time I've seen him in person. He's so handsome. He's simply the man of my dreams. Zhao Tingting heard the movement around her and immediately looked over. The moment she saw Shui Tianyuan, she subconsciously puffed up her chest. He must be the big guy who fired the vitality bomb last time. Basically all the students who came to take the martial arts exam are here, except those who have been certified dead. The big boss never showed up, and only Shui Tianyuan appeared in front of everyone for the first time. Who else could it be if he wasn't the boss? Isn't it because I dressed like this today just to attract the attention of that big boss? Now that the boss has finally appeared, why don't you show off properly? Why did the people next to the big boss look so familiar? Zhao Tingting squinted her eyes and took a closer look. Zheng Feng is really lucky. He was able to meet a big boss. No wonder he is still alive today. However, that guy can actually hang out with the big boss, so wouldn't he just take this opportunity to get to know the big boss? This waste still has some use. Zheng Feng and Shui Tianyuan had just walked to the students when they felt the gaze from Zhao Tingting. Thinking of what he said at the school gate before, Zheng Feng suddenly sneered. Shui Tianyuan naturally didn't know why the good-natured Zheng Feng suddenly laughed. Brother Zheng, what's wrong? He also asked curiously. On the contrary, this question made Zheng Feng stunned. Why did this guy react so quickly? He just sneered and was instantly noticed by him. It's nothing, I just remembered some fun things. Brother Tianyuan, do we want to make a bet? Bet. Shui Tianyuan frowned, but soon, he seemed to have guessed something, and responded with a smile. How do you want to bet? It's very simple. We just need to walk over later, and I'm sure a woman will come to you to flirt with you. As long as this happens, I win. You just need to conform to that woman, and then when she thinks you have succeeded, you just need to turn your back and leave. Shui Tianyuan immediately laughed. What if no one comes? If no one does that, it will count as my loss. Then I will promise you one thing. As long as what you ask me to do isn't that extreme. Shui Tianyuan said nothing more, just nodded slightly, and agreed. While talking, the two of them also came to where a group of students were gathering. Suddenly, a group of people came together. Chen Tingting was among them and forced her way to the front. Standing in front of Shui Tianyuan, she also deliberately pulled her collar down, and even squeezed it to make a certain position deeper. Boss, you are so awesome. You can actually escape from the forest with a useless person. You are my idol. Chen Tingting, who stepped forward, was also very excited and said something to Shui Tianyuan extremely excitedly. With a piece of trash. Shui Tianyuan muttered, and it soon became clear who the trash in Chen Tingting's mouth was. He smiled slightly and instantly understood what the previous bet meant. Yeah, it's really not easy to carry a waste. Zheng Feng, who was beside him, naturally heard Shui Tianyuan's words. Something's wrong, this guy looks like he's deliberately scolding himself. But considering the good show that was going to happen next, he naturally didn't say much. On the contrary, Chen Tingting became even more excited after hearing Shui Tianyuan agree with her. Zheng Feng, my boss finally brought you out of the forest. If it weren't for him, you would have died in it. How do you decide to repay such a great kindness? Why don't you kneel down quickly and kowtow to your savior a few more times? After saying that, she once again said to Shui Tianyuan very flatteringly. Boss, look at this kind of person. Why is it necessary to bring him out? It's better to let him fend for himself inside. By the way, boss, do you have any other plans after the martial arts exam is over? If not, let's have dinner together tonight. Shui Tianyuan smiled slightly, stretched out his hand and gently touched Chen Tingting's chin. Okay, of course. After dinner, maybe we can have an in-depth conversation, what do you think? Chen Tingting's face immediately turned red after these words. She never thought that this big boss could be so easy to talk to. Yes, it must be because of my outstanding appearance. How can these rouge powders compare with myself? Thinking of this, Chen Tingting suddenly became arrogant, and her eyes became more condescending. At this time, Shui Jingru, who had been standing aside before, also walked over slowly. Hey, isn't this Shui Jingru? I didn't expect that you really guessed it. This loser is so lucky. Under the protection of the boss, he actually came out alive. Why, from the look of you, you also want to talk to the boss. Go back and change your clothes. You look like this and you are worthy of talking to a big boss. If you ask me, you'd better play more with this loser. Maybe you can even train him to be your licking dog. With that said, Chen Tingting took the initiative to hold Shui Tianyuan's arm. How could Shui Jingru endure what Chen Tingting said just now? She was about to say something, but was stopped by Zheng Feng. Shui Jingru was naturally a little surprised by Zheng Feng, who stopped her. She was just about to say something when she heard the teacher accompanying her suddenly shout. Everyone stand still. As soon as the words fell, a curtain of light fell directly from the sky, covering the school bus and all the students here. Outside the light curtain, ferocious beasts appeared all over the mountains and plains. Most of them are first-order ferocious beasts, and occasionally there are 3 or 4 second-order ferocious beasts. These ferocious beasts were all staring at the students within the light curtain at this moment. A pair of eyes stretched out, filled with bloodthirsty desire. What's going on? Are these ferocious beasts crazy? No, these ferocious beasts are blocking the outside now. How are we going to get back? The students under the light curtain were all discussing in a lively manner. It's all because of this trash. He must have attracted these ferocious beasts. You loser has been in the forest for so long and nothing happened. You must have made a deal with these ferocious beasts. Zhao Tingting looked at the ferocious beasts outside and felt a little irritable. Why do I want to have dinner with the boss and have in-depth exchanges? Now that these ferocious beasts are blocking the outside, when can I go out? Naturally, she was ready to vent her anger on Zheng Feng. Zheng Feng was also a little helpless. Could this also involve him? This Chen Tingting is really. Drive this trash out, maybe then the vicious beast will target him and let us leave. Chen Tingting then put forward an opinion, and soon many people followed her and agreed. It's this trash that caused us harm. Get this loser out of here. Zhao Tingting, who received so many responses, naturally looked proud. She couldn't help but ask Shui Tianyuan beside her, "Boss, do you think what I said is right?" Shui Tianyuan naturally nodded in agreement. Yes, you are right. We want to get out of here. The best way to get rid of these ferocious beasts is to have people go out and attract these guys. But I don't think he is the best candidate. Well, why don't you go out and give it a try? Zhao Tingting originally looked proud. But after hearing Shui Tianyuan's words, his expression suddenly changed. Boss, did you make a mistake? You're not mistaken. I think it's good for you to go out. Zheng Feng followed. When did it become your turn to speak here, this loser? Zhao Tingting immediately glanced at Zheng Feng angrily. Naturally, he immediately asked Shui Tianyuan. Boss, did I hear wrong just now? You actually want this guy to get out, right? It's useless for this waste to stay here. Let him go out and lure away these ferocious beasts, right? At this moment, Shui Tianyuan smiled faintly and did not answer. Zheng Shiwen picked his ears impatiently. I say Zhao Tingting, if you really can't hear clearly, I suggest you clean the earwax out of your ears. We're asking you to get out, do you understand? Zhao Tingting's expression suddenly dropped, and her body was filled with energy fluctuations. It seemed that she was ready to attack Zheng Feng. Brother Zheng, how long will it take to clean up these guys outside if you and I join forces? Shui Tianyuan suddenly said something. Naturally, Zheng Feng was not looking at Zhao Tingting, and was looking at the ferocious beasts outside. About 20 minutes. Then Brother Zheng, why don't we just clean them up? Okay, since you said it, Brother Tianyuan, the time for the martial arts test hasn't come yet anyway, so these are real points. Zhao Tingting was about to take action at this moment. Suddenly she heard the title between Zheng Feng and Shui Tianyuan. She immediately froze on the spot. Brother Zheng. Brother Tianyuan, how could the boss in his eyes call him such a loser? Brother, Zheng Feng, be careful. Shui Jingru, who was standing aside, also gave some worried instructions after knowing that the two of them were going out to deal with those ferocious beasts. Elder brother. Suddenly, Zhao Tingting was speechless. It seemed that this world was completely different from the one she knew at first. Girl, I'm actually not the big guy you're looking for. You got the wrong person. Shui Tianyuan also explained to Zhao Tingting at this moment. What I just said to you is actually because I lost a bet with Brother Zheng. Don't take it to heart. After saying that, Shui Tianyuan and Zheng Feng looked at the teacher together. The teacher accompanying the car nodded to the two of them and opened a small opening in the protective shield in front of him. Zhao Tingting was completely stunned at the moment. From time to time, there were several sounds of ridicule coming from behind her. It was obvious that the person those people were laughing at this moment was her who was just about to fall on top of her. Zheng Feng, it's all because of him that I became like this. Thinking of this, Zhao Tingting clenched her fists tightly, not even noticing that her nails were embedded in her flesh. She turned around and returned to Yi Lingtian's side again. Yi Lingtian's attitude towards her naturally changed at this moment. Brother Tian, do me a favor and kill Zheng Feng for me. As long as you can kill him, I can do whatever you want me to do. Yi Lingtian, who originally didn't want to pay attention to Chen Tingting, now after hearing her words, his eyes immediately stared greedily at the exposed ravine. This is what you said. I hope you won't regret it when the time comes. Yi Lingtian sneered. Outside the barrier, Shui Tianyuan and Zheng Feng came out together. The ferocious beasts that originally surrounded this place all became excited. In just an instant, more than a dozen ferocious beasts rushed towards them. Zheng Feng waved the alloy sword in his hand leisurely. Countless sword energy swept across the entire place. In just one breath, the ferocious beasts that rushed towards him were all turned into powder without exception. The students standing inside the barrier now took a breath when they saw the scene in front of them. When did such a powerful figure appear in the academy? Yi Lingtian, who had originally promised Zhao Tingting to kill Zheng Feng, now looked pale and the corners of his eyes were twitching involuntarily. Zhao Tingting also covered her mouth in shock. Is this still the trash with only E-level talent? How did he manage to kill those ferocious beasts in an instant? Shui Tianyuan hasn't taken action yet. Did he really do it himself? Can he survive in the forest? Not just good luck. A series of doubts suddenly flashed through Chen Tingting's mind. No, this must all be fake. A waste would never be so strong. At this moment, Zheng Feng naturally doesn't care what the people behind him think of him. After wiping out those ferocious beasts with one blow, the points on his watch were also increasing rapidly. The ranking has even entered the top 10. If he continues like this, he will probably have a chance to compete for the number 1 spot soon. Shui Tianyuan on the other side also moved. At this time, Zheng Feng knew what the ability of this number 1 student was. Assimilation. It's hard to change that. Su Fengyu asked himself to pay more attention to it. This ability will definitely not be B-level. With the joint efforts of Zheng Feng and Shui Tianyuan, most of the ferocious beasts surrounding the school bus were immediately eliminated. The 20 minutes originally agreed upon by the two seemed to be a bit too slow. Hu ho ho. Sword energy kept shining past. Countless ferocious beasts were shattered into pieces. In the blink of an eye, all the ferocious beasts blocking the outside disappeared. These two guys are so fierce. How could these ferocious beasts be dealt with so easily? Stop talking. The top 2 in our school's martial arts test this time are probably these two guys. Isn't that too pervert? I know that person, Zheng Feng. He only has E-level talent. How did he do it? Yi Lingtian stared at Zheng Feng, who turned back and swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He hurriedly said to Zhao Tingting beside him, Zhao Tingting, are you going to let me die? If you want to kill Zheng Feng, go ahead and don't drag me into the water. As if on purpose, Yi Lingtian's voice was extremely loud when he said these words. Everyone heard clearly. Zheng Feng naturally looked at Chen Tingting immediately. The next moment, he appeared in front of Chen Tingting. You want to kill me? Come on, give it a try. With a sneer, Zheng Feng handed the alloy sword in his hand directly to Chen Tingting. Brother Zheng, something is wrong, back away. Shui Tianyuan, who glanced this way, seemed to have discovered something, and immediately let out a loud drink. Then his whole body fell directly into the ground. Chen Tingting, who was holding the alloy sword directly, suddenly sneered. The alloy sword in his hand stabbed Zheng Feng directly. It gave Zheng Feng a heart-warming blow. Wisps of black energy continued to flow out of Chen Tingting's eyes when she raised her head. What happened? Is this Chen Tingting crazy? I heard that this person is still her relative. No matter how bad the relationship is, we can't really take action now, right? The people around him started discussing in low voices when they saw the scene in front of them. The teacher on the bus also looked this way at this time, with a faint light shining in his hand. But soon, he looked away again. Zheng Feng looked down at his chest. Although the alloy sword was really pierced, he didn't feel anything at all. It was as if his body was an illusion at the moment. But soon, a pair of hands grew from his body and pulled out the alloy sword. Ha 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 ha, you are all going to die. No one gets out alive. At this moment, Chen Tingting suddenly sneered. The black energy in his eyes became more and more intense. Get her, she's possessed by something. The hands on Zheng Feng completely left his body and transformed into Shui Tianyuan. At this moment, Shui Tianyuan was no longer squinting slightly, but his eyes were already open, staring at Chen Tingting in front of him. Only then did Zheng Feng understand why he was not injured. Shui Tianyuan assimilated with his body. So that's it. Zheng Feng touched his chest, and the hole that appeared before had disappeared. Next, he directly grasped the alloy sword that returned to his hand. Chen Tingting's body began to tremble continuously in front of everyone, and countless black energy surged crazily from her mouth, nose, and eyes. The rest of you, stay back. Don't get contaminated by this. Shui Tianyuan frowned tightly. This thing is not that easy to deal with. Why does the ferocious beast in the middle of the third level appear here? When did it possess Zhao Tingting? Before he had time to think, the black air had condensed into a toad-like creature in the air. Black spikes continued to gather in the air. When the surrounding students saw this scene, they all hurried away from here and watched from a distance. Brother Zheng, I can't put this thing to much use with my abilities. I mainly rely on you. Shui Tianyuan turned to Zheng Feng and said something. Zheng Feng also nodded immediately and clenched the alloy sword in his hand. Blade storm. Countless sword energy went straight towards the black energy suspended on the sky. The sword energy sliced through the black energy, cutting it into pieces. But in just the blink of an eye, all the black energy condensed together again. It was as if Zheng Feng's attack had never appeared before. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Weird sounds came from the black air, and the black thorns condensed around him fell like heavy rain towards the students in the distance. Although Zheng Feng tried his best to throw out the sword energy at this moment, he still couldn't eliminate much of it. More than half of the spikes were still buried in other people's bodies. But the spikes didn't seem to do much damage. But the person who was hit by the spike immediately groaned in pain, and the next one, just like Chen Tingting just now, launched an attack on his companions. And with every attack they make, a wisp of black energy will appear, converging into the black energy above the sky. The guy's aura also started to rise. Trouble. This guy seems to be entering the late third level. Shui Tianyuan saw through his thoughts and immediately turned around and glanced at the teacher on the bus. At this moment, the onboard teacher is also observing the ferocious beast on the canopy, but still has no plans to take action. Brother Zheng, don't hide anything anymore. If we don't deal with this guy, we will probably all die here. After Shui Tianyuan finished speaking, his whole person began to become transparent, as if he was assimilating with the air. Zheng Feng snorted coldly and threw aside the alloy sword in his hand. He slowly raised his hands. This action, isn't that right? Impossible, this is absolutely impossible. How could it be him? In the distance, those guys who were avoiding the pursuit of their companions also noticed Zheng Feng's movements here. After they saw clearly what Zheng Feng was going to do, everyone showed expressions of disbelief. I don't even dare to imagine what Chen Tingting would look like when she wakes up and realizes that the boss she has been looking for is actually her relative. Maybe Chen Tingting will go crazy by then. Don't talk about Chen Tingting, even I have a hard time accepting this now. Zheng Feng completely ignored the discussion behind him. At this moment, he focused all his attention on the black air. Vitality bomb. Countless rays of light instantly emerged from Zheng Feng's hands. A large ball of light quickly condensed in Zheng Feng's hand. Go! With an angry shout, Zheng Feng threw the energy bomb directly, flying straight towards the black energy. Boom! The violent explosion sounded in everyone's ears instantly. The third-level ferocious beast had actually realized that something was not right, but it was too late to escape. The moment the vitality bomb came into contact with it, its body immediately began to disintegrate. There is no way to resist this terrifying force. The light dissipated, and the black energy above the sky had completely dissipated. Those who were hit by the spikes also fell into coma at the same time. The onboard teacher, who had never done anything, now took out a whistle. After blowing the sound, he also said to everyone present, "The martial arts test time is over, everyone get in the car now." Zheng Feng took a deep breath. At the moment when the instructor on board said the martial arts test was over, the points appeared on his watch again. This third-level ferocious beast scored 450 points at once. And it was also because of the extra points this time that Zheng Feng's ranking instantly soared to first place. Inside the institute, everyone looked at the ranking list in front of them and fell into a sluggish state. Just now, after adding the terrifying 450 points, Zheng Feng's total points reached 730 points. The total points for second place is only about 400 points. Suddenly there was an extra 300 points. Could it be that the integrator is broken? How could the integrator be broken? Didn't you realize that 450 points were suddenly added just now? It means that this little guy named Zheng Feng killed a third-level ferocious beast. Impossible, absolutely impossible. Where do the students who take the martial arts exam have the strength to do this? Even SS-level talents may not be able to do it. Could it be that there are SSS-level talent owners? Bring me all the information about this little guy named Zheng Feng immediately. Zhang Feng naturally didn't know what was happening in the major jokes at this moment. At this moment, he was sitting in the car returning to school. It was different from when he set out. On the way back, as soon as Zhang Feng got in the car, many people came up to him and asked if they could sit next to him. Zhang Feng was naturally too lazy to pay attention to them. The last person sitting next to Zhang Feng became Shui Jingru. "Where's your brother?" Looking at Shui Jingru sitting next to him, Zhang Feng asked curiously. After all, he didn't see Shui Tianyuan go anywhere since he got in the car. "Oh, my brother actually has some social fears. He probably hid them long ago because of his ability." Hearing this, Zhang Feng immediately remembered Shui Tianyuan's ability. Assimilation. Maybe Shui Tianyuan has become part of the school bus at this time, and may even be secretly watching him. When he thought of this, Zhang Feng suddenly felt a little creepy. "Well, speaking of which, I haven't thanked you properly yet." Shui Jingru said shyly. "Thank you for the points you gave me. Otherwise, I'm afraid I would really miss this opportunity to choose a school. Also, if possible, you'd better not let others know about what happened in the cave." As he said that, Shui Jingru's face suddenly turned red. And when she reminded him like this, Zhang Feng immediately remembered the spring light he saw at the beginning. He coughed a little awkwardly. A blush swept across his face. "Well, don't worry about that. I don't remember what happened at that time. By the way, speaking of points, do you still want them? I have a lot of points, so I can give you a little more to be more secure." Shui Jingru quickly waved her hand. Enough is enough. Next, there was silence between the two. In the second half of the process, Zhang Feng simply closed his eyes and summoned the system. "I have killed so many ferocious beasts this time, and I don't know how many upgrade points I have gained. Good guy, when I looked at the upgrade points on the system panel, they increased to 80 points. Does host choose to use upgrade points for redemption or lottery?" The system's voice then sounded. Zhang Feng did not answer in a hurry, but carefully began to plan the distribution of the 80 points in his mind. "The last time I drew a lottery, I won an extremely powerful vitality bomb. I just don't know what skills I will get in the lottery this time." Thinking of this, Zhang Feng also immediately asked the system, "Can I take out multiple upgrade points for lottery at one time?" "Yes, the more upgrade points used in the lottery, the more powerful the skills will be drawn. Then I'll spend 50 upgrade points in a lottery." After Zhang Feng received the system's reply, he directly took out a large number of upgrade points. "Ding, congratulations to host for winning the sparkling fruit. Do you want to get it now?" Sparkling fruit, could it be the devil fruit that Kizaru ate in the pirate world? If it's true, does that mean that I can use Kizaru's skills in the future? Thinking of this, Zhang Feng naturally chose to obtain it immediately. Not long after, a yellow fruit appeared on his hand. The performance is a circle of strange lines. "Hey, Zhang Feng, where did you get this fruit?" Shui Jingru, who was beside her, naturally noticed that Zhang Feng suddenly had something in his hand at this moment. "Oh, I found it in the forest. It looked a little strange, so I picked it off. As you know, I usually like to eat fruits and so on. It's good to supplement vitamins and stuff." While talking, Zhang Feng took a bite of the sparkling fruit on his hand. An indescribable bitter taste instantly filled his mouth. It felt like eating the most disgusting food in the world. "Zhang Feng, are you okay? Is there something wrong with this fruit?" Zhang Feng looked in pain at this moment, which immediately made Shui Jingru worried. "It's okay, it doesn't taste good. I won't eat." With that said, Zhang Feng opened the window next to him and threw out the remaining sparkling fruit. According to the rules in the pirate world, as long as you take the first bite of devil fruit, you can gain full abilities. So it's okay not to eat the remaining part. If Zhang Feng were to try one more bite, he would probably vomit out what he had eaten a few days ago. He closed his eyes again and carefully felt the changes in his body. But there seemed to be no change in my body. Of course, he doesn't dare to try some specific functions, such as elementalization, easily now. After all, there are other people around now. Once it is used, it is not easy to explain. System, there are 30 upgrade points left, which can be added to my strength, physique, and skills. Okay, it's been allocated. Ding, the current host's strength is 49, constitution is 59, and skill damage is 30. After the system's sound disappeared, Zheng Feng also tried to make a fist. Although his strength is currently only 49, Zheng Feng can clearly feel that the strength in his hands has improved enough compared to before. Even if it's the shell of a forest turtle, you don't need to use the sword energy of Blade Storm, you can probably break it with a few more punches. I just don't know how my current physical strength compares with Su Fengyu's. If you have a chance, you have to find time to discuss it with him. In the blink of an eye, the school bus returned to school. When Zheng Feng and Shui Jingru got off the car, they saw their head teacher, Lao Zhang, waiting there. Are you back? Okay, we're all back. Zheng Feng, it's okay if you don't get the points. I have already applied with the above. You can come here to take the literary test again tomorrow. Zheng Feng originally wanted to say that he had gained points. But he didn't expect Lao Zhang to bring him such news. Although it didn't sound good, Zheng Feng knew very well that Lao Zhang must have put in a lot of effort to convince his superiors. He was actually thinking about himself, and Zheng Feng couldn't help but feel touched. After taking a deep breath, Zheng Feng said to Lao Zhang, "Old man, don't worry, I got the points this time. You don't need to worry about me about school. I'm your student, I'm no worse than others." Lao Zhang glanced at Zheng Feng with some disbelief, and then his eyes fell on Shui Jingru. Looking at Lao Zhang's questioning look, Shui Jingru didn't tell everything, but hid a few things. "Old man, Zheng Feng didn't lie to you. You'll know when the standings come out. Although the martial arts test is over, the corresponding standings will not be released so soon. Just like the college entrance examination a long time ago, after the martial arts exam, everyone's watches were taken away by the onboard teacher in the car. So even if Zheng Feng wants to give Lao Zhang a big surprise now, there is no evidence for the time being. Okay, even though you got the points, I still advise you to try the literary test tomorrow. The more preparation you have, the better you'll be sure of it, right? Don't mind my nagging, old man. Okay, it's getting late. You go back and rest first. Zheng Feng, don't forget to come back tomorrow." The martial arts exam is over, which naturally symbolizes the end of their high school career. Zheng Feng and Shui Jingru then separated. Zheng Feng was naturally anxious to share the news that he had won first place with his mother. Suburbs of Zhujiang City. Zheng Feng skillfully greeted the man downstairs and went upstairs. "I opened the door and found that my mother was not at home. I just found a note on the table that my mother left for me. Xiaowen, if you don't see mom at home when you come back, don't worry. I'm going to your aunt's house for some business. I'll be back later." Zheng Feng frowned slightly when he saw the message left on the note. "My mother actually doesn't see her aunt, Zhao Tingting's mother, very often. Only when there is really no way to open the pot at home, my mother will humbly go over there." Thinking of this, Zheng Feng also went downstairs without stopping. The location of Zhao Tingting's home is actually nearby, but it's not in the suburbs, but in the city center. Before he even got close to the Zhao family's villa, Zheng Feng heard his aunt's harsh voice from a long distance away. "How many times have I told you not to come to our house? Every time you come, I have to find someone to clean the entire house. And who will eat the things you brought over? Our family is worried that we will be poisoned if we eat your things. How many times have I told you? Gungan, don't let me see you again. You have ruined the good mood of the day." Then, Zheng Feng saw his mother being pushed out of the house by her aunt Han Mengyao. Han Mengxin, who was a bit older, couldn't stand still and was about to fall to the ground. Fortunately, Zheng Feng stepped forward and supported his mother. "No matter what, aunt, you and my mother are sisters. What you did is a bit too much." Zheng Feng stared angrily at Han Mengyao in front of him. "What did you say, you wild fool? You don't even look at what your family looks like. Being a relative of you really brings shame to me. By the way, didn't you go to take the martial arts exam? Why are you back? Could it be that you were eliminated midway? Chen Tingting has been in a coma because she was previously possessed by the murderer. She is still observing at the school. Xiaowen, were you really eliminated midway?" Han Mengxin also asked with some confusion. After all, Zheng Feng has already returned, and Chen Tingting, who went to take the martial arts exam with him, has not been seen yet. "Mom, no, what time is it now? The martial arts test is over. I came back with everyone. I was not eliminated and I got a lot of points. Zheng Feng saw his mother's worried look and quickly explained. Ha ha ha, you can get a lot of points. Do you think I don't know that your talent is only E level? Oh, I don't blame you. I'm afraid you don't even understand the rules of the martial arts exam. The many points you talked about should only be more than a dozen points, right? That's indeed a lot of points for you. After knowing that Zheng Feng was not eliminated midway, Han Mengxin actually breathed a sigh of relief. As for how many points Zheng Feng got, it actually doesn't matter. The most important thing is to be safe and sound. I'm too lazy to say anything more to you. Come on, Mom, let's go home. From now on, Mom, our family will be left to me. Zheng Feng ignored his aunt's mocking look and helped his mother to go back. Hey, leave it to you. With your few points, there really are no colleges to choose from. If you go out to work early, you can indeed support your family. My Ting Ting hasn't come back yet. It seems that she is with the big guy from your school. By then, our family will really be able to have enough food and clothing. Zheng Feng didn't pay any attention to what his aunt said at this moment. Although Han Mengxin was still reluctant to leave, she could only sigh helplessly when she saw Zheng Feng's serious look. On the way back, Han Mengxin also explained why she came here. Xiao Wen, Mom knows you don't want Mom to come over here and be mean. But now that you're about to go to college, it's time to change your clothes, and there's also the matter of tuition. You don't need to pay attention to what your aunt just said. As long as you can go to college, you can go. Even if the annual tuition is a little higher, it doesn't matter. Mom will find a way. After hearing his mother's words at this moment, Zheng Feng said helplessly. Mom, I told you, I can support the family from now on. I will figure out the tuition fees myself, so you don't need to worry about anything. The two of them just walked towards their home in the suburbs. Just as they were approaching their home, a neighbor ran towards the two of them in a panic. His aunt, please go home and have a look. Many soldiers have come to our place and asked where your family is. A soldier, Han Mengxin asked doubtfully. Yes, this is the first time I have seen these soldiers up close. Everyone has a straight face, as if they are about to eat someone. I said, his aunt, did your Xiao Wen get into trouble? Although the neighbor saw Zheng Feng standing nearby, he still couldn't help but ask. Otherwise, why would there be so many people from the army showing up? His aunt, what I said may be a bit unpleasant, I hope you don't mind. If this is your Xiao Wen's fault, we all have no choice but to ask you to leave our place. You also know the current situation. If something happens to your family, it will be bad for us. Han Mengxin turned around and glanced at Zheng Feng, sighing slightly. Zheng Feng was also confused at this moment. Didn't you do anything? Why do people from the military come to our door? Accompanied by the extremely worried neighbor, Han Mengxin and Zheng Feng returned to the yard together. As soon as we entered the yard, it was exactly as the neighbor said. All soldiers were standing there with extremely serious faces. Everyone had guns and live ammunition in their hands. It seemed that it was really because Zheng Feng had committed something. Many other neighbors were standing in the yard at this moment. When they saw Zheng Feng coming back, they immediately started pointing. I knew his children were not good people. Look, how big of a crime must he have committed to bring someone from the army to his door? Keep your voice down. If he hears it, he comes back to trouble you. What will you do? What am I afraid of? I'm just telling the truth. Besides, there are so many soldiers here, how dare he do anything to me? Zheng Feng glanced at the doors of these neighbors who were usually smiling but not smiling. If you ask me, his mother must have done something. I don't see his mother going out to do anything on weekdays, but every now and then she gets a sum of money. I guess she didn't come from the right way. I feel like Han Mengxin is sneaky. These people are probably here to find her. Zheng Feng looked directly at the guys talking about his mother at this moment. One by one, he remembered them all. No matter what you say about me, it doesn't matter, but if you say that about my mother, it's embarrassing. Just when Zheng Feng glanced at these guys one by one, a middle-aged man in military uniform with medals hanging on his chest just came down from upstairs. Seeing Zheng Feng walking into the courtyard, he immediately quickened his pace. Young man, are you Zheng Feng? This man walked up to Zheng Feng and immediately smiled. Sure enough, a hero comes from a boy. You are much more handsome than you look in the photo. How's it going? Do you have any favorite colleges? Oh, by the way, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Chen Gang, and I am the current principal of the Southwest Military Academy. I am here to invite you to choose our Southwest Military Academy as the place where you will study next. Southwest Military Academy. Zheng Feng couldn't help but frown. These guys are here to invite themselves to their school. The people around him were stunned when they knew who the middle-aged man standing in front of Zheng Feng was. Southwestern Military Academy. Southwest Military Academy, one of the top 10 universities in Dragon Kingdom. Did I hear that correctly? This is this man. I know him. He has appeared on TV before. He is indeed the current principal of Southwest Military Academy. Wait a minute, did you hear clearly what he just said? He actually invited Zheng Feng to join their Southwest Military Academy. Everyone looked at Zheng Feng in disbelief. What is the concept of Southwest Military Academy? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.